Hello, everybody! How are you all doing? Yep, this is Jawunleashed. This is not John talking right now, but we're about to be good to go. God, I love this song so much. What up? Yeah, hello, everybody. Oh, hello. I almost tried to say welcome and hello at the same time, by the way. That's kind of crazy. All right. I believe we're about ready to get started here, gamers. God, this music is such a freaking... It does give me flashbacks as well, trust me, guys. I feel like when I hear this song, I'm about to go into the world of Jawhn. You know what I mean? Helcom. Helcom probably could have worked too as well. Holy cow. Wait, what the frick? Why is there a hype train start? Oh, because of Pink Galliums. Thank you for the 2 months. Let's go. All right. Let me get ready to get going, gamers. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. This is about to be like tonal whiplash. Here we go, guys. Now! Yeah! What up? Don't y'all love that tonal whiplash? Let's freaking go. Spoiler, Josh is dead. Look, I'm not canonically dead yet, okay? Who knows? Lazarus could have found a freaking, like a cure as well. Also, guys, I'm gonna let you all know there are gonna be heavy spoilers throughout this entire, like, stream today, all right? This is trauma to be spoken up. Look. Perhaps, okay? I'm just throwing it out there. Perhaps. Look, guys, there's gonna be a lot of trauma we're gonna be talking today. There's gonna be a lot of just yappage, as they say. Hold on, let me tag everyone in the in Discord real quick. At Livestreams, we are live. There we go. Perhaps, no, literally. I don't care if I should be happy, we're scared about it. No, based. Look, welcome to the Jawhn POV retrospective. Guys, we are going to be going over quite a bit today. Also, am I lagging or is that just... Okay, I'm not lagging. Okay, that's good. I think it's just YouTube. YouTube is not liking this right now. Holy frick. In the prequel scene of season 2, can we get a shot of Jawhn getting of mice and men? No, I was talking to some of my creator friends who were actually interested if there ever was like a season 2 of Decayed Decrepit. Like, imagine that we actually got to see Jawhn get like put down at the very end. I mean, theoretically speaking, that could have happened. That could happen, but you know, I feel like we probably wanted to be a little more happy, maybe, you know, potentially even, you know. That's all I'm saying. Just look at the supplies, Jawhn. Look at the supplies that he managed to get. Hello, Joe Fields. Hello, Joe Field. Joe Phil. Hi, Joe Phil. Guys, listen. Today is going to be awesome. Also, is the stream lagging or is it just me? Oh, wait. Is it because I'm like... It's not lagging for you all, right? Just making sure. Okay, it's just me. Okay, good. Good. Just making sure. Look, I don't want you all to suffer through bad stream quality, okay? I don't want that, okay? Just get a better PC is crazy. That's insane. Spoon and Spidey already traumatized me with 4C. I don't know if I can actually see that. To be fair, Jawhn POV was also very traumatizing, I feel like. That last session was crazy. That last session was genuinely insane. I could not believe it. I could not believe it. And I was like, that last session was so peak in how it happened. It was awesome. Hello, Jojo. I totally forgot about this. How dare you, ZZT? How dare you? We can't be doing another Mice and Men. We got to switch it up. Got to get some other classic lit going. Look, we're gonna do an Old Yeller. We're gonna do an Old Yeller. Okay? Does that make sense? We'll take Jawhn behind the woodshed. All right. Also, spoilers for Old Yeller as well, and of Mice and Men, I suppose. Should have been magic, true. Should have been DAD magic, for real, for real, for real. My Tamagotchi John has a crush on Jonathan. That's fair. That's based. That's based, you know? Okay, guys, let me give you all a quick rundown of what we're gonna be doing today. Okay, let me give you all a little bit of a sort of overview of what we're planning today. All right, so this is Old Man Yowie. This is Old Man Yowie, guys. I'm just warning you all. There will be a lot of Yowie today. No, just kidding. I promise you there's not, okay? I promise. Let me see. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, guys, we're going to be doing a couple of different things today. So, I have plans to finally do my, I'm finally planning on doing my in-character DAD tier list. I didn't do that the entire time. Yo, Caddy, thank you so much for the raid. Let's go. So I'm finally doing my in-character Jawhn tier list. And I didn't do that at all during the actual series. Just because I kind of forgot to. I never had a real opportunity to do it, so I kind of just forgot. But we're doing that today. Welcome, Raiders. Thank you for being here. We'll be doing that today. We're also going to be exploring the actual map of Paradise City. Also, I need you all to know, I have a brand new stream alert. Rusty Courage made that. Rusty made that new stream alert for me. So if this is the first time it's showing, and I absolutely love it. It's so cool. So yeah, if you all see that, it's gonna be right there. It's gonna be amazing. But yeah, today we're doing a tier list. We're gonna be exploring the map. I believe I'm gonna have a couple people on the server itself to actually like talk about their characters, talk about things like that as well. We also have some of the event staff that are going to be online and give a little bit of behind the scenes of the strings behind the Decayed Decrepit series itself. And I have a lot of fun facts and stuff like that that I have written down on stuff that I was planning on doing, things that didn't work out, like little fun facts and FAQs about the series as it sort of went along. And yeah, I think it's a very interesting amount of things that we're going to be able to do today, because like I said, I had a lot of different plans for today. Or I had a lot of different plans for, see you later, Shervok, appreciate you. I had a lot of different plans for Jawhn whenever we first initially started the series that didn't come to fruition, and it's very interesting the direction that Jawhn went. Because I thought he was going to go completely opposite spot, which is very different from what we ended up getting. The more sympathetic, more like troubled character as well. Because yeah, I think actually, let me go ahead and start out with the first fun fact for you all. This one is a doozy. All right, this one is a doozy, and this was one that I thought about doing when I was originally writing my character's lore itself. Also, I'm curious. Do you all want more upbeat music, or do you all want to fit into the Decayed and Decrepit like gloomy songs? I'm curious, like everyone in chat, what is y'all's preference for this? Do you all want more like vibey music, or do you all want more like in the thick of it? Y'all want lore music? All right, let's freaking go. Can we please be happy for once? I love how there's a couple of people who are happy and some who are thinking like lore. Let's go and do some gloomy music. I'm sorry for all those that wanted happy music. We're going to do in the thick of it. Everybody knows. I can go both ways. All right, we're doing angst. And of course, we're going to start out with the motif of Jawhn. So this is Jawhn's like theme song, basically. I use this in a lot of areas during this. Also, this song is called Shoreline by Dex-1200. I don't know if that's a real band or if it's just an Epidemic Sound song, but it's genuinely awesome. It's my favorite song, and I found it on accident as well. But it looked so good whenever I whenever it actually happened, and it was beautiful. But all right, we have this song, and we're gonna be listening to the lore music during this, everyone. So we need to be locked in, I suppose. All right, the first fun fact about Jawhn and the Jawhn POV. I like how y'all can still throw things at me. Lazarus and Jawhn, by extension, were originally going to be a cannibal group. That was my first idea when I started crafting Jawhn as a character. I originally thought that Jawhn was going to be a cannibal. Now, this shifted, obviously, very differently, which, yeah, the chat reaction to that. So, that is 100% true. I originally was writing my lore document for my character, and my original thought was Jawhn was actually going to be a cannibal. This shifted completely because of how I interacted with characters in the actual series itself. I was carrying that in my back pocket for the first 2 sessions. That means that it could have happened in the first or second session. That could have been very different in this character piece, basically. Yeah, the original way, yeah, it would have been awesome. I think that could have been a really cool character, but the way that Jawhn was interacting with characters, it started to make less and less sense throughout the first session and the second session and stuff like that. And I was really thinking about pulling that out in the second session as well. But it started to become a way of the characters, like the character not making sense for that world. You know what I mean? At least for like this group, basically. Yeah, imagine Woogie and Jawhn sharing flesh down the line. No, literally. And it's like that would have changed the trajectory of the character arcs very drastically, I feel like. Because imagine how Sin and Jophiel would have reacted if Jawhn was actually a cannibal in those scenes. I think that would have made things turn very, very different. Yeah, Jawhn would have gotten affected. Like that is the big thing about like the flesh as well, is that if you eat it, you do get infected immediately. Which I believe also did have a hand in how I did like want to go about that sort of character as well. But yeah, no, I was holding that information like for a while. Like I said, for at least the first 2 sessions, I genuinely considered like playing Jawhn as a cannibal. But it just didn't make sense for the lore, for what Jawhn was kind of going through. It started to make less and less sense as the series sort of went along, and, you know, it would have eventually, I feel like if Jawhn would have gone that direction, a lot of people might have cared less for him and would have been more interested in sort of the things that he could do. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people care about Jawhn in the DAD fandom, where like a lot of people said, oh, he deserves to get out alive. But I think if he would have gone the route of the cannibal, I'm pretty sure people would have been a lot less willing to entertain him as a character, or as like a surviving character in a way. Because it's like, at the end of it, that's a big line to cross. You know, like that's a big line to cross as a survivor, right? And that's like, the whole line of, what do they call it? The whole line of, what was it? It was do what is necessary to survive. I was hinting that is exactly what the group was doing. So it's like, there's multiple different paths that this could have gone, right? If I would have decided to go with Jawhn as a cannibal, I would have forgiven him, to be honest. You know what, based? You know what, based? True. You know what, that's best based. And it's like, I think it's such a big character shift. Like I said, I think Jawhn would have been a vastly different character if he would have gone the cannibal route. W Jawhn apologist. Yeah, can't blame bro too much in the apocalypse, which is interesting because I also decided to give them a farm and everything in the second session to kind of show that they weren't cannibals. So I did write out that opportunity at like during the second session as well. So it was like how far would you go to survive? You know what I mean? Redemption arc where he learns not to eat people. True. I was thinking Jawhn was eating people at the beginning because my friend said he has a big mistake or something. Interesting, exactly. No, that's like the mistake also changed, and I'll go into that a little bit later. Because the mistake that Jawhn made wasn't always the trusting of the stranger specifically, and it had a different repercussion as well in my original vision for it. Were they actively hunting people, do you think, or was it an opportunist thing in your head? Because I guess that kind of changes how it interacts with the world. I think it was like, do what is necessary to survive. It really seems like a last-ditch effort sort of idea for me. I don't think that his group was actively wanting to hunt people. You know what I mean? I don't think they were going into the woods and like, hey, come back to our camp and, you know, let's have a nice little dinner, and then they are the dinner. You know, it's like, I don't think it was like that. I think it was more of an opportunist, like, if we have to eat people, we would. Which makes the little, like, slightly more forgiving, but it's one of those situations where, like, I think it could have gone either way for the characters, and it would have made sense either way. Because Lazarus has a reputation for being willing to do whatever it takes, right? So I think it could have gone both directions in the end, because it just makes a lot of sense for that to actually have happened for them at some point, especially if that was the route that I was sort of gonna go for that character as well. Also, let me see here real quick. God dang, my whole PC is like, it's my Chrome for some reason. Are we saying if Jawhn went cannibal, he could have changed to not be a cannibal to like, or he would just continue with the cannibal path? I think it could have been a either or maybe it could have been like I don't like what you're doing, but I understand. Yeah, Dan, hello. So guys, that guy plays the stranger. He's my friend. IRL, and he actually played the stranger in the cinematics. Absolutely killed it, by the way. Did amazing, and like I said, Dan, absolute trooper, being awesome at making this character come to life. John killed me in mine. Yeah, I shot you in the head, bro. W. And I was like, I think one of the biggest things for that as well is like, we'll get into a lot of the stranger stuff too a little bit later. But I think the whole idea of Jawhn potentially being a cannibal is that it completely shifts his character dynamic with everybody. And I think that at the end of it, if it would have happened, I think John's character would have been too far gone in my own eyes, to be honest. Because I make a very big, like, purposeful decision to be like, oh, this is Jawhn and this is Jawunleashed. Jawunleashed didn't agree with every decision that Jawhn made. I think that, like, Jawunleashed thought that Jawhn could have made so much better decisions as the series went along, but the character led a different path. And it's just like, at the end of it, it just turned out that the path that we went on was so much better than the original idea that I was conceptualizing in my head. And as someone who loves RP, and anyone who is interested in RP stuff as well, one thing I always say to do if you're getting into RP and if you're into roleplay stuff, go with the flow. Don't force anything. Like, if you see your character going a certain direction, like, lean into that. Like, go into it. Because that's the way that you get a character that ends up like Jawhn, where it's like every decision he made so much sense. I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of my how I played the character. I'm very happy with it. And it's because every decision that Jawhn made was for Jawhn. Like, as Jawunleashed, I didn't choose for him to make those decisions. I let Jawhn, like, make those choices for himself. It's like the moment, Pat, the moment that Jawhn tells, like Magic, you better stay the hell away from us. I don't think that Jawunleashed would have wanted to do that. That was Jawhn. Jawhn was at a point with Magic at that point, and he was just like, I'm not dealing with you anymore. Get out of here. And I think that's what made that moment hit a bit harder, was because, like, if I would have chosen to make Jawhn work with Magic in that group, in the hostile group, then it would have been a very different story. It would have been a completely different story, and it would have been more my interpretation than John's interpretation as well. John has voices in his head and it's cannibalistic. John, exactly. Wait. wait. And I'm like, yeah, Magic played her character so well. Like, genuinely, me and Magic, like, we were just like gushing about how much we enjoyed each other's character. And it's like, it's amazing. It's amazing how much we played our characters, and I'm very happy with it as well. Okay. Next thing I want to do, now that I've given you all a fun fact, or a not so fun fact in that specific case, I want to do my character tier list. I know a lot of people are interested in seeing this character tier list, and I'm very interested to create this with you all as well. And I changed it up slightly. I changed up the ranking slightly. Yo, Woogie! Yeah, we're doing my character tier list, basically. Woogie, I think you're gonna be really interested in hearing what I have to say about Woogie in character. Because it's I don't think Woogie is gonna go where you all think. And I think I think there's a very conscious choice that Jawhn makes in Woogie's last episode that sort of like solidifies where I think that he would have put Woogie in this tier list. All right, let's go to the tier list itself, gamers. Let's go. Oh yeah, John being a potential cannibal was Woogie's fault. Yes, 100%. 100%. All right, so here we are, gamers. We have the character tier list, the official DAD character tier list. And I'm very interested to see how this goes as well. One thing I do like and keep visiting is your dynamic with Spood, how you were polar opposites, but we're learning what it's like to be each other. You're learning just how quick you can be alone in the world and learning what it's like to lose everyone, where Spood's character only knows being alone and what it's like to lose everyone, but learns it's okay to have ones close to you. Exactly, because Jawhn has been with people his entire life. Like, Jonathan, or what was it? Was it Noah? Was it Noah, his real character's name? And it's such a good dynamic. Like, I told Spood this, like, after we, like, would do our scenes together. I was like, I loved playing a Jonathan, Jawhn scene. Like, I loved it. It's such a good dynamic, and it's so unique. Because these characters, I think they dislike each other, but they have a begrudging respect for each other because of, like, what the other has done and is willing to do. I do think that the moment where Jawhn grabs Jonathan by the shirt and just says, "Listen, buddy, you do what you need to do to get Spidey back," and he tosses him back, basically, I think that was a big moment. Doubteds, thank you for the follow. Hello. We're doing a character tier list right now for DAD. I first thought they were siblings when I didn't know D&D. I think they would have hated each other if they were family. I think the limited amount of time that they had with each other was what was okay with them. You know what I mean? I think that was the point, you know? All right. Let's do this, gamers. First up is Bob Blue's character. Actually, let me go and explain this a little bit for you real quick. The top tier on this one is would die for. So in this, like, this isn't exactly like literally what Jawhn would do, but in his mind, this is what he's willing to do. You know what I mean? Like this is like this is like John's thought process. This isn't literally what he would do. It's like I would have killed that guy. I would have killed that guy, or I would die for that person, kind of thing. Like, it's not literally when it comes to this stuff. So keep that in your mind when you're thinking of this. I think the scene in the reactor room with the Who's Bleeding is my top 5 scenes in the entire series. That was so much fun. And Josh, I was on edge during that. Like, there were so many scenes during this where I was on edge throughout the entire like sessions. And I'll explain why as well after we do the tier list too. Because I do have a fun fact about the way the story unfolded as well. All right, so let me explain this real quick. Would die for, that means Jawhn in his mind says, I would die for you. You're basically family to me. You are basically like someone that I would genuinely like put my life on the line for. Second, would kill for. No one else is going to be getting in my way, and if they get in my way, kapow! Basically. Like that's a like just a what I got. This one is not as far away from would die for, because I think these two are very similar in vibe when it comes to that sort of thing. Green is would fight for, so he had like Jawhn has like a respect up, more of a respect for, basically. Someone who would like, he would do something and like he would fight for that person in this world, basically. Would stand up for is basically the, okay, you're pretty cool. I wouldn't fight for you, but I like, if someone bullies you, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna stand up for you, basically. And I think that one is the end of the positives for Jawhn. Now, would ignore, that's John's like 50-50 area, I would say. Like he didn't really have a lot of interactions with that person, or he didn't have a lot of like time to get to know a person so well where we wouldn't go either way. If anything, he'd walk past them, basically. It's like, he doesn't really care. He doesn't really care about them. Would argue with, this is where things start to take a little bit of this takes like a negative turn for the characters. This is a point where Jawhn just does not respect the person, or doesn't like feel like he's gonna talk to them very much. And it's like, I think a couple characters do fit here, I think. And I'll give you the reason for each character as well as we sort of go along, as well, because I think it's very interesting, the characters you're on there. Being in the ignore tier would generally kill me, bro. That's the real bottom tier. I think not interacting with Jawhn. Yeah, no, you literally get egoed by Jawhn. That's crazy. Hello, Moldy Potato. Love your name. Oh, Bug. You call me Bug. Hello, welcome. And then we have the would fight. So Jawhn would physically probably fight that person. And like basically go against the person completely. In a very real way. Frick you for throwing things at me. And yeah, the last one is very self-explanatory. Would kill. This is reserved for the people that Jawhn feels like, I think you all know, there's at least one person that goes there, I think, in Jawn's mind. And we'll get into that once we get there as well. I wonder who that would be. I wonder. All right. So I did change it up a lot based on like from the original like tier list itself, but I thought this made a lot more sense for Jawhn himself. So that's what we are doing here today. And we are beginning with Bablu. Bablu's character for Jawhn is, I would say, an ignore. There is no real positive or negative interactions between the two over the series. And I think because of this, Jawhn just would walk past him. Like if things ever happen, like it doesn't, I don't think that Jawhn has a real connection with Bablu. He only had one conversation. And I think that was in like session 3, I'm pretty sure. Session 3 or 4. It might have even been post Sin and Jofield dying, I'm pretty sure. But I can't remember. That's how, like, that's why I think the character would be an ignore, because I don't remember really having a conversation with Bablu. Yeah, no, got bodied by Zura. I did see that clip. By the way. He kind of showed up and died. No, literally. And I think this next one, this is Sin. This is Sin, guys. And I'm sorry, but I think Sin would go into would kill. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously. This is one of those characters that Jawhn would genuinely die for. I don't see a world where Jawhn would do anything less than put his life on the line for Sin. Jawhn in of himself, like that, like the moment and the people that like made Jawhn who he is in this session was Sin and his group, basically. And that one moment at the end where Sin literally just said, "I'm proud of you." Like, I started to tear up from that because I'm like, that's such a banger line. Sin cooked with that line there. It's so simple, but it's so beautiful for that character. And it just makes so much sense for Jawhn to be like, I would die for you to come back. You deserve to live more than me, is what Jawhn would be saying in that moment. Yeah, no, they were genuinely amazing. Like I said, Sin killed it with those lines, and the "I remember everything now" line. Oh God, like, bro, come on, that was genuinely amazing. So obviously, like I said, Sin would easily be a would die for. There is nothing that I can see with Sin being any lower than that tier. And I think that's very much so a testament to the character development that Jawhn had as well. Because if Jawhn would have been in a different like group and went against Sin, like, Sin could be in any one of these other tabs. I think that's what's really interesting about this tier list thing, is that the way that Jawhn thinks about a character is so different based on how they interacted at any point during the series. And I also do wish that Sin and Jofo had more time as the series went along too. It was so tragic. That death caught me so off guard, like actually out of character and in character. It was ridiculous. It was crazy. But it was like, I love the direction that the story went after that happened. And I think it really did make a big difference if Sin and Jofo did or did not die in that moment. So yeah, Sin would die for easily up there. All right, Mr. D, or as Jawhn called him, Big D. I think that this one is a very interesting character because Jawhn had very limited interactions with him, but I think based on how he interacted with him, I believe it's very easy to tell where someone like Mr. D would go. For me, and for the way that Jawhn thinks, I would put him in would argue for, or argue with. Because I don't think Jawhn respects people who are under some sort of like influence outside of just themselves, I think. When someone shows up as like drunk, he was pissed. Jawhn was pissed off about that. And I think that's the biggest thing. Thank you for the pats. I think that's like, yeah, everyone would argue with him. I'm pretty sure everyone would argue with him as well. So it's like, if you think about it, like, Jawhn does not respect someone who is under the influence or anything, especially in a zombie apocalypse. I think, drunk in an apocalypse is outrageous, literally. And I think that's where Jawn's mindset really does come from, because I don't think he respects someone who is willing to put themselves and people around them in that much amount of danger. So there's another character, and I'm pretty sure you all know who I'm talking about, that will also be in a very similar like spot as Mr. D, that I didn't interact a lot with, but Jawhn had a moment where it was like, oh, okay, no, I don't want to interact with that character, sort of thing. So yeah, no, also, I need to throw this out there. This is all in character as well. Like I said at the beginning, all of this is in character. I do not hate the people in themselves, especially when we start getting to the lower levels of all this as well. It's all about the characters, not the actual creators themselves. He's lying. He hates them. True. All right. Next is, I believe it's pronounced August, right? Or August? One of two. It's Pilly's. It's Pilly's character. And this is a very interesting situation. Augustus. Okay, so there's an us at the end. Okay, got you. Augustus is such an interesting character because I don't think Jawhn had any like negative interactions with Augustus, but he didn't have enough to where Augustus made a big impact on his character. I think for this one specifically, if I could put them between these two, that's where I'd probably put them. But I don't think that Jawhn would completely... See, this is tough. See, this is where it's tough. Because, like, I did have some scenes with them, but I never really Jawhn never really did anything to like warrant that. Yeah, I think Augustus could have gone into the group, and I think Jawhn would have accepted them as well, right? But in the actual series itself, I unfortunately think that Jawhn would ignore them. Like it's very sad because I do know a little bit about like Pilly's lore and stuff like that as well, but it's like it's so tragic because I think if Augustus would have gone to Jawhn and tried to be part of the group more, I think that Pilly and Jawhn probably would have gotten more along, but Jawhn didn't have a reason to stand up for Pilly or for Augustus, basically, which is tragic in and of itself. I will say, Augustus replaced everyone Jawhn ever interacted with. AU, no, literally, that'd be amazing. Someone like Jawhn in Seneca pep talk you every 5 minutes. Oh, peak. No, literally, I think that's why like Augustus probably would have had a more like positive time like in Paradise City if they would have been around Jawhn and like Sin basically at that point. But yeah, no, I would have to say would ignore. So far we have 2 ignores. What does that say about Jawhn? I don't know. We'll see. All right. I think now we get to a character that is very, very controversial. We got Flux. Or as we call him in this house, the illiterate. And I'm not going to beat around the bush, guys. I think that Jawhn would fight them. The only reason that he didn't actually choose to kill Flux is because I think that after a certain point, Flux and Jawhn stopped being antagonistic toward each other. That is the only reason. I think Jawhn would have slimed him out if he would have killed Zora. He shot Zora down and actually downed them. But if Flux killed Zora there, easy would kill. Easy would kill here. And I think the biggest part about this sort of like this sort of character is that like the character's like dynamic shift a lot over the series, right? Don't say that name in this house. No, literally. And like I think the whole idea of it is that like imagine if Flux did kill. Imagine if Flux shot Zora and killed Zora there. That would have been insane. Flux likely would not have gotten out of there alive. Or either that or Jawhn would have died earlier as well. Also, I saw Rusty pet Popcat as well. Did Rusty say anything or did she just pet Popcat? She just pet. Look, I'm not egoing Rusty because she just pet, okay? To be fair. All right? Dude, it's 12 a.m. this night. This music is terrifying. Imagine. All right, but yeah, no, that's my sort of idea when it comes to this, is that I believe that Flux would have been a character that Jawhn would have killed if things got worse. But at this point, I think Jawhn would have just fought them and would have basically beat them, basically, in a way. He wouldn't have actually killed them. I think it would have been just more about the message of that. You know what I mean? Which is like, yeah, I think that makes so much sense for John's character in that regard. Okay, next we have give me a G, give me an R, give me an A, give me a Y, Gray. Now, Jawhn had a soft spot for Gray, 100%. Every moment that Gray was on screen, Jawhn was basically like being like a caring father to her, in that regard, which honestly, I don't think is going to shock you all where I put Gray here, but easily would kill for her. Easily would kill for her. I think that Gray is a character that Jawhn saw and wanted to protect. There was a sort of fatherly, feeling I think that Jawhn had towards Gray. And the moment when he saw her grave, that scream was guttural. Even from my own perspective, I was devastated, bro. I had no idea that Gray died. So whenever I saw that, and like as Jawhn saw that too, it was like, that was devastating. That was insane. It was a jump scare when you scream, because I didn't even expect to scream at that point either, which is kind of crazy. I think for a lot of this, I think Gray's death hit Jawhn really hard, more than he expected, more than I expected. And it was like, seeing that grave was like a gut punch. It was a genuine gut punch, man. And it's like, the idea that Jawhn really wanted to survive Gray, and the last thing that Jawhn said to Gray was getting her to spell out, what was it, bye? I think is what he spelled out, or like it was like a C or something like that. I can't remember. But like, Jawhn really wanted Gray to live in this world and not have to worry. You know what I mean? And I think that's what made it hit hard for me, is that, oh gosh, like that actually made me tear up, man. Like that made me feel so emotional at that point for Gray and for Jawhn as the character as well. And it was like, bro, that was crazy. All right, but yeah, no, that's where I would put, I spelled Jaw as Jawhn, I'm crying, let's go, W. Another universe, Zora the Savior could have been a parental for Gray too. No, I think so too, actually, I do agree so. Even in stressful situations, she helps people, bruh. No, same. I think that's like, Gray was a character that, too kind of a character for the world, and a character that like was going to die. I don't think that Gray's character makes that of a world like Paradise City, which is incredibly sad. But I was not completely shocked when Jawhn like found Gray that way, to like in a way, you know what I mean? Like I was not shocked that like she actually died, but it was like a shock that we found her that way. It's crazy. All right, next is, I believe this is rotation, right? To be honest, it's kind of weird. It's kind of strange, because I don't think that, like, there's a certain part of the groups that Jawhn just straight up did not interact with. And for this one, I don't think that Jawhn had enough information on rotation as a character to really do anything with him. I don't think that Jawhn would have stood up or argued against. Yeah, he's Gray's friend, that's it. I think that's the only thing that would possibly make Jawhn stand up for rotation. But I don't think that's enough actually in the character, like, interactions to actually warrant that. So I would honestly say rotation would probably go into ignore, as well. Rotation! Oh my god, that's so funny. Hey, rotation, what's up, man? I don't know what's on. Look, I'm just saying. Says the guy who's getting ignored. Hello, Venus, hi, rotation. What's up? Slips again and falls again, starts to stop because I miss Gray. Base bug. If rotation has Jawhn up, I don't think Jawhn would ignore rotation. That's why I think it really depends on, like, that's what's so difficult about this as well, because I think that, actually, let me go ahead and do this. Let me go ahead and add a little bit of a caveat here. I'm gonna go ahead and change this to a 50-50 here. Of like, if it's gonna be a positive interaction or not. I think that makes a bit more sense, because I do agree. I think Jawhn is a lot more helpful than, I think that John's a lot more helpful than he really needs to be honest. He does put himself into a lot of situations, like Woogie said. It was like, this guy's always finding himself in trouble. And I'm like, I think that's one of the big reasons why, that if these characters would have asked Jawhn for help, I think he would have had a real chance to help them. I don't think Jawhn goes into an interaction negatively. You have to give him a reason to negatively interact with you, basically. And I think these characters here are right on the cusp of actually getting Jawhn to help them, but also a lack of interactions make it to where Jawhn wouldn't actively try to help them, basically. And I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that makes quite a bit of sense for those characters as well. Hello, Waka. And it's like, for Bablu, Augustus, Rotation, I think that really does fit their interaction sort of side. Because if Bablu went up to Jawhn and asked for help, Jawhn probably would have done something to help him. Same with Augustus, same with the Rotation. But at this moment in the series, like, I don't think he would have stood up for them on his own. They would have had to ask for help. And I'm like, that's a really cool, like, character spot as well for that. All right, next up we have Zophiel. Now, if you all don't know where Zophiel goes, did y'all even follow the character? Like, did y'all even follow the character? It's easily would die for. Easily. I think out of everyone in his group, I think that Jawhn respected Zophiel so much. I think that's another reason why that last conversation by the grave, Jawhn is so, like, willing to just basically be at Zophiel's, like, feet, basically, and just like leaning on Zophiel at that last moment at the grave. And I'm like, yeah, Caroline, exactly. Caroline is the name of Zophiel's character as well. Unfortunately, I don't think that Zophiel got a chance to really, like, expand on the name either, which was so sad. I wish that Zophiel had more time, because Zophiel's lore, like, from what I've heard, is really freaking cool. But it's like, I think he respects priests. Yeah, I think he does respect priests a lot. And I think he respects anyone who's willing to stick to their ideals. You know, like, I think he respects someone who is willing to stand up. And Zophiel stood up every chance that she got. And I was like, hello, Karo. And I think that for Jawhn to really want to die for Zophiel, it makes so much sense for them to actively, like, sort of like seek out that, like that, what do they call it? Not absolution. What's it called? Like, absolution? What was it called? Like, from Zophiel, just because of that sign of respect. But Zophiel's character was so interesting and so cool to interact with. And Zophiel killed it. Like I said, I just want to say, everyone in this line that I've interacted with have, like, they killed their characters, and I love it. They did so good. Especially for a lot of people's first time doing RP in this setting. It's very intense, and it's very, like, you have to, like, lock in, and, like, the fact that there were so many cool interactions just speaks to everyone's willingness to, like, interact and be more willing to toss themselves in those interactive moments, you know? So I was like, yeah, literally too. No, literally true. Exactly. But I think that Jawhn has such a respect for Zophiel that there's no world where he wouldn't want to try to save Zophiel if he had the chance. Because Zophiel, I feel like Jawhn thinks that Zophiel deserved to live. And it makes so much sense for that as well. But yeah, no, that's easily. So far, I think y'all are sensing a pattern. All right? Maybe. All right. Next, I believe we have Megan. This is Megan's, right? And unfortunately, I think it is the same with the, what do they call themselves? The iPod group, the quad or whatever. I think that I actually think that they're in a very similar boat. Because I don't think that Jawhn had, it's a very similar thing for all the rest of the characters. I think that if Megan would have come up to Jawhn and asked for help, I think he would have helped them. I don't think there's a world where Jawhn would try to fight down Megan or the quad group or anything of that nature. Especially like near the end. I don't think he would have. And it's like, yeah, no, he really don't give a crap about the group except for Gray. No, to be honest, I really think that's the case for this. And I'm like, I really do think that's very realistic for how the situations went, right? And I'm like, I think that that's a point where I don't think that Jawhn would have wanted to. I think there was a moment where Jawhn like thought that Megan did something against him as well, but I think that was kind of a track for that moment. Because I couldn't actually remember if that was Megan or Stella that did it at that point. So I wasn't 100% sure, so I let that fall off. But yeah, no, I would say that Megan goes and would ignore for now. All right. Now, guys, this next character is going to hell. I think that Magic as a character is everything that Jawhn hates. I think that, first of all, Magic as a person is amazing. I love Magic. Magic, if you're watching this, mwah. All right. But, but Magic DAD Magic is one of those characters that I think, like, just irrationally is opposite of Jawhn in every conceivable way. And I think that like philosophically, logically, emotionally, I think that Magic is just everything that Jawhn hates. And obviously all the stuff that she did during the actual series was out there too, but I think that just at a singular level, they completely disagree on everything. I think they just completely disagree. You know, it's like, I think there's a lot of like hatred there, but as I said, this is not physically would kill. This is in his mind, sort of like, oh, I'm gonna kill you, like you're dead to me. And I have no qualms putting Magic here, because I think this is literally where Magic as a character would go. 100%. No question about it. And I honestly, I don't think I know of anyone else who might go here at this moment. I think Magic might be the only character who might be at this point. Which is so interesting. And she would have been in our group. Yeah, if we didn't get separated in the first session, I think that Magic could have been in that group. What's really interesting about that is that Jawhn didn't trust Magic at the beginning either, because of how like withholding she was of information. And as we've already talked about, honesty is one of John's like biggest, like Jawhn will respect you even if you tell him that you hate him. I think he respects that more than like if you would tell him a lie. Yeah, Magic failed John's vibe check. No, I think at the bus especially, that really solidified like Jawhn disliking Magic slowly but surely, because of that like lack of honesty that happened there. And I'm like, I think that's really interesting, because it could have gone very differently if Magic played it a different way, which is so cool, I think. She probably didn't even know that she was infected at that point. I think she knew she was infected the entire time. I'm pretty sure. I think at that point, I'm pretty sure her whole arc was like, she knew she was infected, but she lied about it. Which is even more interesting to me, to be honest. So it's like, that is such a cool character. you know, it's crazy. Magic getting separated from John's group was a miracle. Imagine a hostile situation with truth seekers. Wait, that's what's so interesting. I actually do have a what if. What if Jawhn was in the hostile group? Think on that, guys, while we continue down our list. All right. Mike Rowe Ghost, this mother trucker, which is I love his name so much, but it's so stupid. I love it. Mike Rowe, if you're watching this, I hate your name, but I love your name at the same time. Okay, I'm just letting you know. I think as similarly put, the quad group goes there as well. I don't think that I think Jawhn would have helped Mike if he would have asked. I don't think there's a world where Jawhn would have actively tried to help him unless asked. And I think that's really the only place I can kind of see Mike sort of going. They really only talked like once, I believe, in the entire series. And IQ too low, actually. I don't know Mike knows, but he's funny. No, Mike Rogos plays Mike so funnily, and I love it. There's so many things that could have gone differently session 1 that would have resulted in such a drastically different series. Exactly. And Josh, that's why I love these kind of series. I love the improv of these moments. Because like I said, if I didn't interact with like Sin, Jophiel, and Woogie or Zora over the course of the series, this story of the Truth Seekers would have been very different. Maybe I would have died earlier in the series. Who knows? Like I think it's crazy. And like I love doing improv stuff. And I will also say, guys, literally everything except for, I think, me and Woogie wanted to meet in the Atropos machine for his ending, but we had no idea how that was going to go. That was the only planned thing in the first 7 sessions of the series. That was the only planned thing that we had over the entire series, or up to session 7. And it's crazy because everything up to that point was complete improv. I had no idea who I was going to interact with. I had no idea where the plot was going. All I knew is that I wanted to create something awesome, and we improv'd our way through, and it's beautiful how it worked out. And since I'm here, I might as well say, session 8, the only thing that we had planned was me and Magic wanted to meet, and we wanted to have that cliffhanger ending. And session 9, the only thing that I had planned was that opening. The opening ghost section. Think on that, because I'll let you all like swim in that for a second, because only that first ghost interaction was planned at all. Like we didn't have a script. All I knew is we wanted the ghost to appear, and it's crazy. Did you really intend to kill Magic in that scene in the finale? I'm a big believer in letting people in the story how they see fit. So I believe me and Magic talked about it, and Magic wanted to live. So I knew that Jawhn wasn't going to kill her, but I knew John's story likely wouldn't be with him killing Magic or anyone. Because as you all saw throughout the opening cinematics, like Jawhn is not a killer. He doesn't want to kill people. And I think that's the biggest proponent, especially when you can see like with his character sheet, it's like John's not a killer. And if you watch the opening cinematics, and it's why I said in that post talk, I was like, pay attention to the opening cinematics, because that will tell you how the next session would go. And I'm like, I don't think that Jawhn wants to actively kill people. He just wants people to try to live, basically, is kind of how he wants to do. Jawhn, my baby, I would die for him. He's such a little guy, and he deserves I could talk more about Jawhn as well, later on too, but him as a character is so fascinating to me. 4C, Spidey, and Spood were such a pivotal group, and they barely knew each other at all out of character before session 1. And if one or two conversations were a little differently early on, Magic and Woody were both wildcard group-wise. True! No, I think the whole idea that these characters are one line off from completely changing the dynamic of the story is insane. And I love that. That's my favorite thing about these kind of lore series. And I'm like, that is so different. Things could have been so different. How dare you, strawberries? All right. Now, guys, Zora. Where are we putting Zora? Now, I mentioned to you all what Jawhn knows outside of lore versus what Jawhn knows in lore are two very different things. Jawhn never knew that Zora wanted to kill Jawhn initially. Jawhn knew, and I was stressed out, mother truckers, when I was interacting with Zam. I was scared. I thought Zam was gonna slime me, bro. I thought Zam was gonna kill me. But like, but in lore, Jawhn would easily die for Zora. That moment in the building where Jawhn finds Zora just alone in the building, Jawhn, out of character, was completely scared. I was like, oh, Zam's gonna freaking kill me here. I'm gonna give him a weapon. He's gonna kill me. He's gonna stab me. I'm dead. It's over. Because I knew what Zam's character was. I knew who Zora was as a character. Like, I knew I was in danger. But, like, Jawhn in lore just thought, oh, Zora seems nice. Zora seems kind. And just slowly but surely, Jawhn just slowly won over Zora. And Zora started to actually care about Jawhn, and Jawhn started to actually care about Zora. I think for the first couple sessions that they interacted, it was more like of a transactional sort of interaction standpoint where I'll help you, you help me sort of thing. But as they started to interact more and more, they just started to really care about each other, I think. And that last moment was like actually crazy. That like, I think that Jawhn would have died for Zora. I think that if Zora would have asked him to put himself into the machine, I think he would have considered it. And the thing is, Zora did not want that for Jawhn. So that's why I think that like Zora didn't ask that to do it. And I'm like, I think that Jawhn really did care about Zora, and Zora genuinely cared about Jawhn. And it was like, it's such a tragic thing because they never really got to talk about how much they actually did care about each other. It was more just like of an unspoken thing of, yeah, no, we'll do this, Jawhn. Like, Jawhn, like the moment where I actually saw, like the moment that Jawhn saw Zora, and he was like, Zora, and he like ran over there, like, are you okay? Are you good? Like that moment was such a caring moment for both of them. And if you watch my POV back, like Zora is the only person that Jawhn actively like hugs. Every time that Jawhn, like I played Jawhn, every time I had Jawhn walk up to Zora and crouch and like lean against Zora, that was Jawhn giving Zora a hug. Every time, like grabbing on, just holding on. And if you watch the plot, the POV, it's like, that is the only, like Zora is the only character that Jawhn does that to. Only character out of all of them. And for those of you asking, I actually did know Zam's plan with the character as well. We for context, we all put our like character lore in the Discord, and we all knew what each of the characters' lores were, but we played it in game as if we didn't know. You know, and I'm like, also Bug, try to refresh your screen as well. That might be what's causing the problem. But like, how dare you? But like, I think that like this was one of the characters that I think like this was a really sweet dynamic that we had with all three of these characters in a different way. And I'm like, each one has a different like sort of like vibe with Jawhn. That is just very, very interesting. Just watch it unfold. Playing as you don't know something is very difficult, which is like why I say hats off to everybody who was in the series, because we had to play off stuff that we might have known out of character, but we can't use it because our characters don't know. Like I knew that I knew that Jonathan didn't actually kill Forsey, But I played it if Jawhn was like that. He obviously thought that Jonathan did kill Forsey. Like, out of character, I knew Spidey pulled the trigger. But I had to play it as if Jawhn didn't know that. You know, it's like, that's like, I think that's a real sign. Like, signs of good RPers know how to, like, know something out of character and sort of use that. Jesus freaking Christ, my God. How dare you bombard me like that while I'm in the middle of that? Jesus. But like, that's a real good testament to RPers. Yeah, RPers don't metagame. WRPers don't metagame. And it's like, that's another reason why I think the whole idea of these, like, everyone here killed it with their characters. That's why I gotta put such a hats off to them, because they did do it so well for that. You know what I mean? They did really do such a good job with not metagaming in that sort of way, right? So yeah, no, I think it was like, I think it's one of those situations where I do think that, like, each moment that we go into a session, we know exactly how to, like, use our characters in getting things to move forward without using information that we actually know. It's a really difficult process, but if you know how to do it, like, that'll send your RP leaps and bounds above everyone else's. Like, just learning to use that information in a great, like, way like that will shift your RP so much further. Good role players know how not to metagame. The best role players know how to metagame backwards. Exactly. No, literally. Like, using information you know to put in a very different, like, twist on it is so cool. And that's sort of that's actually what I did with the idea that I knew that Jonathan didn't kill Forsey. Like, that moment of Jawhn, like, saying, "Oh, I bet Forsey's death is weighing heavy on you, huh?" Like, it's what led to the moment later on with that scene. Like, at first, Jonathan told me that he killed Forsey. I found out later found out in character later on that he didn't. I used that later to be like, "Oh yeah, you weren't even man enough to pull the trigger yourself, huh?" Like, oh God, like, that moment is one of my personal favorite moments of the entire series. That moment feels so earned for both of our characters. And it was like that moment where he turns around and just looks at me. It's like you could feel the clench of the fist. You know what I mean? Like, he was seconds from punching me. And it's like, that just made that moment hit so much harder. And I loved it. Like I said, I told Spood to go ham on me every time that we talked. Like, I told him, if you want to yell, go f yourself, like, do it. Like, do it. And I was like, tell me to go screw myself, dude. Like, be mad, like, get angry at me. And I was like, I told him to do that. I was like, I'm completely fine for people to do that to me. And, like, I thought that was so awesome that moment sort of led to them sort of opening up as well. It was just so cool. I loved it. But, yeah, no, that's where I would put Zora, guys. Long-winded way of saying Zora goes in the wood, die for. We'll get to Jonathan later. Oh, don't you worry. All right. Now, this one might shock you. This next one might shock you. Chuck. Now, I'm curious. Where do you all think Jawhn is going to put Chuck? I know where he's going. I'm very curious to know where you all think. Fight, stand up for, maybe, man, I don't know, argue with, would stand up for, would argue with. Would fight. Woogie, of course you'd say would kill. He is going in would fight. And let me explain why. Now, as I've already mentioned, Jawhn respects honesty and trying over everything. He is someone who will go to the ends of the earth and hell and back to help someone and to fight for someone. Chuck as a character is very close to being opposite of Jawhn. And the thing is, I think that would have changed if Jawhn was in the hostile group. I think that if Jawhn actually knew Chuck and actually wanted and like actually was able to learn more about Chuck in his life, I think he'd be right there. But because Chuck held all the information back, because Chuck was never honest with Jawhn, because Chuck like basically stood in John's way and didn't help at all, no matter what he tried to do, I think that Jawhn would fight him. And that was very evident in the series itself. I don't think Jawhn wanted to kill Chuck. He's always gatekeeping information. No, literally, that's the biggest thing. Like, Chuck was literally, like, he shared a lot of the information with the hostile group, but he never shared it with John's group. And I think that if he would have just shared his information, I think that Chuck would have been more in the would fight for. I think Jawhn would have understood. Just like when Zura opened up about how many people that she killed and how many people that died because of her, he understood. He knows that there's decisions you have to make in this world to survive. And I do think that if Chuck would have just been more open with Jawhn, I think he would have been a friend. I really do. And it's like, it's so sad because I like, first of all, I love me and Pro are very good friends. And I love playing off Pro because Pro is so good. He was scared. No, true. No, Caro, I will say, Caro, I do not think that Jawhn made the right choice with Chuck. I completely disagree with everything that Jawhn did to Chuck. Don't think I'm trying to like say Jawhn made the right choice. For sure. Because I do think that Jawhn made the worst choice with Chuck. I think he played it so bad. And I do think that character definitely, like, he could have been more forgiving. He could have been more willing to, like, actually try to see things from his perspective. But Jawhn was so blinded by his want for truth that Chuck just really did, just really get in John's way. Yeah, y'all needed time and Chuck was wasting it. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. And I'm like, I think that's like one of the biggest, whoa, 7th string, let's go ZZT, Pog. And I'm like, I think at the end of this, like every time that Chuck was around Jawhn, I think that he just felt like he was playing a game on him. He wasn't telling the truth. And it's like, I think that's why Jawhn would have fought Chuck. He wouldn't have killed him. If he had the choice, I don't think he would have killed him. But 7 straight for Pig Galliums as well. Holy Pog. And I do think that if they would have gotten to know him, I think Chuck would be up here. I really do think so. But unfortunately, I think that's just how the cookie crumbles. And it's really sad because I really do think that they could have been close friends. All right, next person on the list, gamers. We are talking about the Doctor, Saps. Now, this one goes into a new category. This one goes into a category that I don't think any of the others have got into so far. I think that Jawhn would like, he did stand up for the Doctor. People were trying to push him. He's trying to he's like, Jawhn tried to see things from the Doctor's perspectives. And I really do think that it was so unfortunate that they didn't have much time together. But each time that Jawhn was around the Doctor, he did try to stand up for him. When everyone was like yelling at him, he was like, okay, listen, Saps, let's just talk. Like, come on, open up here. I think it's also a very different perspective from like Chuck versus Saps. They both had information at least Saps was somewhat willing to give some information while Chuck hid all of it. And I think he does have sort of like, I think a crumb of care for the Doctor was there. And I'm like, the way that he was getting like pushed around by a lot of the other characters was very interesting. God dang it, stop throwing things at me, guys. God. And I think that if Saps would have been interested in a group, to be honest, guys, I really do think that based on how each person approached Jawhn, I think that this could have gone very differently. You know, like each character could have come up to Jawhn and asked for help. And I think Jawhn would have helped them in certain situations, right? I think that's like, if you think about it as well, like the idea that Jawhn wants to help people, the fact that he wants to help people really does get in the way of his survival in a lot of places, you know, like he is willing to help people. He's willing to actually die for people, and make the wrong choices because of people. So it's like, I think at the end of this, I think that Jawhn understood that Saps was trying, and he would have stood up for him, and he did stand up for him a couple times. I think that Jawhn didn't have the emotional growth and maturity to properly help people. What? Oh, in the beginning. Well, I think that even at the beginning, he was willing to I think that's one of the big parts about Jawhn's story that I think is if you watch the cinematics, especially, I think that Jawhn is naturally, he does want to help people. I don't think he knew how to help everyone though. I think it's a lack of growth and maturity in helping people, and more that he wants to help people, but can't physically help them. Like there's just certain things that he can't do. Like he can't find someone a cure. He can't do stuff that basically makes everything right. You know what I mean? And it's like, I think that's what's so interesting about that character, right? Because he really was someone who wanted to help everyone. And I think he genuinely would have wanted to help most people. I think he did want to help Magic at the beginning, but just character interactions and character wants and needs over everything else is just so different. You know what I mean? It's just very different in how players in how characters interact with each other. All right, speaking of character differences, where do you all think Jonathan is going? Have a good one, Strawberries. Have a good one. And hello, Moochie, as well. I think I saw Moochie in there. Let's go. Where do y'all think? Ooh, I see some people get see it. I think some people see it. I think Jawhn really did want to help Jonathan, especially at the end. I think that Jonathan is a character that Jawhn sees, and at the beginning, I think that they were here. I think at the beginning they were here. But as Jawhn basically said, straighten up, bro, slaps him in the face, I think there was a begrudged respect by the end. And I genuinely love that dynamic that the characters have. And I think that Jawhn would want to fight for Jonathan by the end of it. Especially after all the development that Jawhn goes through as the series goes along. And I think that Jawhn sees Jonathan as a little bit pathetic, but he doesn't want him to be. He knows he can be more. You know what I mean? I think that there's a point where Jawhn sees Jonathan as someone who can do something, who can choose to do something, which is why he chooses to fight for him. At the end, when Jonathan does, or when Jawhn decides to walk away from the whole Whiffy situation, I think that it's kind of scary that Jawhn like regrets it right after. He's like, I should have helped them. I should have helped them. And he runs away to try to help them. He goes back to try to help them. And, you know, and it's like, I think there's a whole like dynamic there that is so interesting to see when it comes to that too. Jonathan Duo reminds me of the meme where a girl is covering her ears while someone blows a trumpet in her ears, but it's Jawhn shouting hope multiple times. Yeah, the moment where Jawhn grabs Jonathan is like, look, we're going to find Spidey, sack up, and let's go. And he's like, okay, I don't care what you do. Come on, I'm leading you there. Like, that moment was so cool for the characters between the two. And it was so interesting to see that. I think I got jealous at some point that Spidey and Jonathan were inseparable. I think they are a real and genuine relationship. So I haven't seen anything like that. I really loved it. Spidey and Jonathan are a very good, like, interesting dynamic as well. No, I love it. I love it. It's super good. And for what I've seen, like, that dynamic was so unbreakable and it was so interesting to watch. But yeah, no, that's where I would put Jonathan. Would fight for. Very different than I'm sure some of you all were thinking as well, because it's a very different situation I think that Jawhn would see him as, for sure. And the interaction between Jawhn and Jonathan had a real nice intensity of honor and morals. I think it's very cool because their morals were so different. Like, the way they saw things were very opposite, which made their talk so cool. All right. Snowbird, the old man. This one is a very interesting dynamic here. Because I think Snowbird goes into would stand up for. Now, I think there is a big difference between what a character decides to do at the very end of their life versus how they were here. And I think every time that Jawhn got help from Snowbird, he was actually trying to help them. Jawhn stood up for Snowbird at least during that last moment when everyone was like trying to kill him. I do think that the audacity for Snowbird to try to kill and use someone on the machine after Jawhn didn't want him to was what turned him from this to this. Sometimes his immersion is gone. No, I love the one of my favorite clips from the entire series is the there's a moment where Snowbird says, "Do you think?" End of sentence for a little bit. And I say, I sometimes think. And Snowbird's like, no. It's just that absolutely kills me. One of my favorite clips from the entire series. Every time I was with Snowbird, I felt like something like that would happen, and it was so funny. Brain juice. Wait, do I talk about brain juice? Send the clip of my Discord. I want to see that. Do you think? It's so funny. It's such a genuinely good clip. Holy cow. But I think in character, Jawhn would stand up for Snowbird, and he did stand up for him on multiple occasions. But I don't think he would have fought for him at some point. After a certain point, I think a character is morally I think morally a character gets to a point where something shifts. You know what I mean? And it's so fascinating. So you know, he was a watchdog. He didn't let Flux and Thomas get away with their lie about the Atropathy. No, literally, I loved it. Like, I love Snowbird's character. Snowbird's character was so fascinating to me. All right, next up is Spidey. Now, Jonathan might have been very attached to Spidey. Jawhn didn't interact a lot with Spidey. However, Jawhn knew how much Spidey meant to Jonathan, which I don't think takes away from the dynamic between them. In fact, it actually does increase it slightly. I think that he would stand up for her. I think that pushes Spidey. Jonathan's care for Spidey pushes Spidey from 50-50 to stand up for her. And I think that really did show at the very end. Especially with the fact that Jawhn didn't go fight for Spidey at the very end. Yeah, I'm basically his stepdad, basically in this situation, I suppose. But like Spidey as a character, like Jawhn didn't interact with her a lot over the series, to be honest. But Jonathan's care for Spidey basically made it to where he'd stand up for her, I think. And I think that makes so much sense, especially with how their final interaction did go. And it's like, I think that makes so much sense when it comes to that as well. All right. Let's see. Also, let me show you all what's in game as well. This is what we have in game. Yeah, look at in game. Yeah, yippee. And Josh is in there too, funnily enough. Let's go. But yeah, no, that's what that we still have that in game ready to go. All right. Let's see. Also, Josh, if you're still listening, by the way, I'll be, as soon as we get this, we're gonna go in game as well, by the way. So keep we'll be going in game if you're still listening. All right. Okay. Next up is Thomas. I don't think Jawhn interacted with him enough to really warrant a argue with, which is where I almost put him. I almost put him in there. Thomas and Flux are very close to each other, and I think Jawhn takes that into account as well. But at least Thomas was cordial to Jawhn. I think that makes a huge difference. Oh, hello, Pinkwinks. Hello, Pinkwinks. Hi, Pinkwinks. Side college boy. Exactly. I think they were like, oh gosh, it's so interesting because like, I think it could go either way. I think this is literally one of the cases where it could go 50-50 genuinely either way. Because Thomas did give Jawhn some information, but Thomas also did help Flux a bit. And I think that really does level out in John's mind where it's like, could I trust him? Do I? 6-7 likes. Let's go. 6-7. Sorry. All right. I just lost 80 viewers. W. All right. All right. Let's see here. All right. Yeah, so I would say Thomas would go in the middle for sure. Stella. Oh, this is such an interesting one. This is such an interesting one because I think I really want to put her here. I really want to put her here because I don't think Jawhn trusted her by the end. But she was also very kind to Jawhn at the beginning. I feel like she's the Jawhn of the hostile group. That makes a lot of sense. I feel like that makes sense. Because I think like she would be willing to do a lot for her group as well, right? I think that just makes a lot of sense. Oh gosh. I think it would have to be 50-50. I think that Jawhn, it wouldn't actually be an ignore, to be honest. I think that would be a 50-50 on how John's gonna treat her. I actually did see that she put down magic. No, I did see that. I don't think I can, honestly, Leopa, I don't think I can actually hate any of these characters. Like me physically, I don't think that I can hate any of these characters because it's like a lot of it makes sense why they are the way that they are. They each have their own motivation for why they did what they did. And I think that at the end of it, it's such an interesting choice made by each of them. But I think for Stella, I think she was very helpful near the beginning, but near the end, I just don't think that Jawhn could trust her. I don't think that Jawhn could trust her by the end of it, which makes me like teeter between these two, for sure. All right, next up. And this is one I want you all to guess where he goes. Because next up, baby, we got Woogie. where do you all think Woogie goes in this tier list? I wonder where he goes. This one's actually probably going to shock a couple of y'all. I think the only reason why Jawhn does not put Woogie in Dies For is because one of their last interactions is Woogie completely revealing that he lied and used Jawhn. That is the moment that took Woogie down from would die for to would kill for. That last moment on the bridge when Woogie basically tells the entire reason that he basically used Jawhn to get done what he needed to get done. I think that's what shifted Woogie down from would die for. Yeah, Jawhn really values trust and honesty. I think that's what's if someone lies to Jawhn, that is just and that's not even a little lie, right? That's not even a little lie. And he threw off Sin's journal and Jofiel's Bible. I actually think it's really teetering on these two, to be honest. But I think it would still be. I think that Jawhn would kill for Woogie. But as you all saw at the very end of Woogie's story there, Jawhn was not willing to go into the Atropos machine for Woogie, which is a very big character moment for that dynamic. I don't think that Jawhn would die for Woogie. I think that Jawhn would kill for Woogie. I think he went through a lot for Woogie, but that big break in trust there was a tipping point for their relationship. And it you can really sense that after the fact. If Woogie had been honest and upfront with Jawhn, I think he might have considered actually going into the machine. But because he didn't, that's what it just ends up with there. Would you have died for it if he hadn't lied? No, I think there might have been a chance that Jawhn would have gone into the machine. Which is also one of my what ifs. What if Jawhn did go into the machine? What would have happened? Would have been very different. Hello, Pinicata, welcome. Also, since I sadly wasn't able to watch these live Jawn's story compilation vid in future, I am gonna be making a Decayed Decrepit video in the future. I don't know how long that's gonna be. I am very slow at what I do, so take that with a grain of salt for right now. But we'll see what happens. But all right, I think that one's a very shocking one. That is probably one of the more shocking ones in this entire list, I think. All right, Ish. This one is interesting. Can I eat Jawhn positively pretty please? Sure. I mean, Zora would probably be alive because she was only the big church to find Jawhn. No, I think so too. So hold, let me time out Sel for that message. Let me just, no, just kidding. Hi, Sel. All right, Ish. Now, this one is interesting because I do think that he'd be different at the beginning of the session or at the beginning of the sessions versus at the end. At the beginning of the sessions and at the beginning of the story, Ish would have been here. At the end of it, though, I think that Jawhn would have been here. Alive-ish, I think he felt a lot worse by the end. If you listen to Jawn's speech on the radio after everything that happened in the final session, he sounded exactly like Ish did at the first session. So at the beginning of the series, Ish would have been here. at the very end of the series, I think that puts him here. I think Jawhn genuinely felt bad at the end. He should have listened. They should have listened to Ish. And I did purposely try to make him sound a lot more like Ish in that final speech as well. Because I think that does show how far he's come since the very beginning of the series. And it's just like, in another world, I think if Ish had been more willing to like tell exactly why, I think it's a very similar situation to Chuck, where he was very vague, but he also was like, I think it was a very interesting dynamic. Yeah, Ish was so secretive. And it made a lot of sense because that was like the first session and we couldn't know everything immediately. And I also don't think a lot of that lore was written at that point, funnily enough. So it was like, I think, yeah, he was very broad with the message. If he would have been like more direct, I think Jawhn would have listened. I'm pretty sure. So, you know, what can we say about that one? You know, what can we say? You know, get out of work in time to catch some of the stream. Let's go. Hello, Nada. Welcome. He fearmongered. I do think that's true too. Also, if y'all are curious about zombie-ish, I think zombie-ish would have been woodkill. That chase scene in session 4 was insane, by the way, completely unscripted. And it was very terrifying for me. I actually, fun fact for that. Let me actually do a fun fact for that one. If you all go back and listen to me at the church after that chase scene, I sound a little out of it because I genuinely almost passed out. I was doing this the entire chase scene, which was 20 minutes long. Like, I was doing that as I was sprinting away. I was lightheaded near the end of that, my people. I was like, I genuinely almost passed out. I genuinely did almost pass out. So yeah, that's a little fun fact for you all. I was so like invested in that scene. I was completely out of it by the end of it. Child, the lore could not be that serious. I'm crying. Look, could you imagine though, if you all heard the little, like you all heard me like, yeah, guys, Ish chased me. Ish chased me. You just hear me hit my desk and fall over. It's just, I'm done. It's over for me. You know what I say? Have some water. I should have had a lot of water at that point. The gurgling at the house made me want to puke. That was actually disgusting. I know Ish wasn't doing that. That's actually the character or like the zombie model. But like that was terrifying and horrifying to listen to. Sitting there like, is this a canon death? Like Jawhn just has a heart attack in the front of everyone. Imagine peak method acting. True. All right. Next up is Yimmies. Yimmies is a very interesting character because Jawhn didn't interact a lot with Yimmies, but every interaction they had was positive. And I think by the end of this, I think Yimmies was very much so a stand-up for. Yimmies was there for Jawhn in a lot of different places and actually was with Jawhn whenever he found the journal that Sin wrote. So that would easily for me be a stand-up for. Like I think Jawhn saw Yimmies as a positive influence on him. But I don't think that he would end up like fighting for Yimmies. I think it would have been much more of a like a friendly face. No, literally, I think that would have been it. More of a friendly face, and not necessarily someone he would like turn away from or do anything like that. Like I think he would have helped Yimmies in a lot of places, which would have been great. I think she was a mother, solid comfort to people that was unchanging. I really adored her character throughout the series. It was very good. Yimmy comforted me so much during your POV because she always showed up after you were in arguments. That's what's so interesting. Like she was always there, right? In a very real way. But it was like the moments were so contained. It was very easy to miss them. You know what I mean? Imagine a universe where Jawhn didn't get infected and stay in the city somewhat and live for long enough to run into new people years later. That'd have been, I think if Lazarus wasn't in the question, I think he might have. The only reason Jawhn left was because of Lazarus. I'm pretty sure. So, hello, Misprint. Welcome. Welcome. All right. Next. I really not going to waste a lot of time with this one just because I literally never saw Pofa once. I literally never saw Pofa. Never saw Pofa. So I think we just put that one there. All right. Oh, wait, Caro, watch out for spoilers of the Jawhn POV. God. Are the characters ranked inside their tiers? Almost all of them so far. Almost all of them. DAD Pofa, we mourn you every day. Aww. Aww. All right. Squiddo. This is so tragic. Squiddo is such a tragic case. I think that Jawhn saw Squiddo as a very comforting character. And I would have to put Squiddo in Would Fight For. Jawhn saw Squiddo as someone who actually deserved to live. I'm pretty sure. And there's a world where Jawhn saw Squiddo and actually did help her in many different ways. But it was just very unfortunate how she ended up dying. It was so tragic. It was so tragic. Squiddo was the first character to make me cry during the whole series. Oh, Squiddo was so cheerful and optimistic. She captivated her own audience. Oh, it's so sad. What's really funny, someone on Twitter was wondering, wait, did anyone else see Squiddo one more time? I saw she had like a cameo in the last or like session 7. And I went there, I was like, yeah, no, she shows up in my POV for a couple minutes near the beginning. And they're like, what? I didn't know there was more Squiddo content. So I was like, what the frick? Love the oldies and Would Fight For. I think Jawhn has a soft spot for old people. Yeah, that's you too, Jonathan. Frick you. All right. Hello, Waka. All right. Next up is 4C. I am so pissed I never got to interact with 4C. But I have to put him here. Jawhn had no interaction with 4C through the entire series. And I think that 4C, like me and 4C talk all the time, outside of content and stuff like that. We talk all the time, we hang out quite a bit. And I was like, dude, why did you avoid me at every single turn? And it was like, I didn't. I just kept walking. You were just never there. And I was like, but you told me you walked the opposite way when you saw me one time. And he was like, yeah, I did. That mother trucker. I hate him. I hate 4C. If we were talking about real life 4C, I'd put him down here. But since we're talking about DAD 4C, we'll put him in the middle. All right. All my homies hate 4C. God dang it. All right. All right. I would have loved to see some Jawhn and 4C or even Sin and 4C. Yeah, we wanted to have 4C and Sin interact, but we could never freaking find them. We could never find the mother trucker. We couldn't do it. Frick that little slime boy. All right, next up is Tommy's character. All right. Now, I did mention that the first time that Jawhn saw Tommy's character was when he was drunk. And that immediately turned Jawhn away. Which would make him would argue with. If you watch my POV back, as soon as Jawhn sees that there's another drunk, he's like, all right, these guys. And he walks away. I would have enjoyed to got to hang out with Tommy as well. Like, come on, who wouldn't do that? I like watching Tommy. I enjoy him as a person. But Jawhn as a character wouldn't let me. And so I had to walk away from Tommy at that point. So that's why we didn't get much Jawhn and Tommy interactions, because Jawhn just had no reason to hang out with him. Also, Sinica! Hi, Sid! Hi, Sid! Hi! We all say hi, Sid. All right, so we do that. We all say hi, Sid. Yay! When did Katie in my POV? I genuinely couldn't remember her in your flashbacks. She was in the second flashback. So session 2, I believe. That's the one where Jawhn turns away the survivor and she is the survivor. Yo, Big Alex, thank you for gifting a sub to Sin. Let's go, W. So yeah, that's in the second session, by the way. So yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for giving Sin a sub. Let's go, W. All right. Next up is Rusty. Obviously, Rusty being a member of Lazarus, knowing Jawhn since birth, hanging out with him at Lazarus all the time, easy would die for. Easy would die for. That is just no question about it. Jawhn as a character would die for every person in Lazarus. Which is also why I think he did go on this mission. He was going to help these people. He wanted to help Lazarus so much. He was willing to do something so stupid. And also out of character, Rusty helped me a lot with cinematics. She helped build Lazarus itself. She was awesome. Rusty, huge shout out to Rusty. She genuinely just like, she was awesome. She genuinely helped me out with a lot of stuff. So, anyone who is like genuinely curious to know, like Rusty did a lot for me as well as a creator for this, which is also why if y'all haven't followed Rusty, make sure you all follow her. So appreciate you. Awesome. Yeah, that's a really easy one. All right, we're down to the last two gamers. Whiffies. Jawhn did not like Whiffies because he felt like he was lying every time they talked. Every single time. And he would die for them. No, literally, that's what, guys, this is canonically where Whiffies goes. Easily would go. Whiffies, Jawhn would die for you. So it's like, it's quite amazing, isn't it? Yeah. Oh my God. Like, what would that mean for Jawhn? Wait, like Whiffies is a character? Or what was it? Oh, in the hostage case. Yeah, no, true. That's also another reason why he dislikes him as well. Oh yeah, make sure if you're on YouTube, make sure you're changed to live chat, not top chat. Make sure you all are on live chat, not talk chat. All right? Or top chat. Make sure, because that's great. Ow. All right. Well, that's where Whiffies would go, guys. And now, last but not least, in your minds, in the way you all feel that Jawhn would say, where do you think Jawhn sees where he belongs? At the beginning of the series, at the very beginning of the series, I think that Jawhn would go here. Jawhn had a lot of hatred for himself at the beginning of the series. A lot of hate for himself. But going through everything that he went through, after everything that he did, I think that that's where Jawhn would see himself. He wants to fight. That last moment on the bridge with the ghosts, a lot of you picked up on it. That was Jawhn going through the stages of grief, that entire session. He went through a lot in that city. By the end of it, one of the final lines that he says I want to keep the part of me that's human. Which is why I think he would fight for himself. If he still believed he deserved to die, he would have actually gone after someone or done something to try to survive. In a way, it's a very hypocritical way of him to live. But by the end of it, Jawhn saw himself as someone who deserved to be fought for. And he himself wanted to fight to keep that part of him that was human. Which is why I would put him and would fight for. This is Jawhn's official tier list for each character. And this is how he feels about every character by the end of the series. I think having a lot of hatred for yourself is something that no one should have. I think that Jawhn was dealt a bad hand, and I think people in real life can be dealt a bad hand too. Doesn't mean you deserve to die. Doesn't mean that you deserve to feel like you do deserve to die. You need to fight for yourself no matter what. In a way, Jawn's story is a story about hope and a story about actually trying to fight to keep going. His backstory is incredibly sad. He had to make a lot of choices and a lot of decisions that ended up making him who he was. And those decisions he didn't like. He didn't want to have to be that guy. But, you know, by the end of it, he's accepted himself and accepted himself for who he was. And I think that everyone should try to fight for themselves. All right? Jawn's story is a cautionary tale, I think, as well, because like he does that last choice of going to fight magic and try to chase down magic was his Achilles heel. And if you watch the entire series, you will see that every single choice led him to that last moment. And which is why, like I said, I'm very proud of the story that I told, like through Jawhn. I'm proud of every person I interacted with. Every single person here killed it. And yeah, Jawn's around 29 years old. Or I'd say 29 years old based on the year of the series, basically. Actually, he died a little bit before his birthday, actually. Because he died in April and he was born in April. If the series is interlocked with the same year as the actual stuff is, then he died on the month of his birthday. Fun fact, I guess? Fun fact. The amount of stops in the chat. Hooray! Happy birthday, Jawhn! Happy birthday! Happy birthday, Jawhn! Well, he's not dead by the end of the series, okay, to be fair. I love that facts are fun. Hi, Rusty. Seneca said, stop, you're making me emo. That's freaking hilarious. Oh my god. Well, look, I feel like he had more hope actually by the end of it. And like the fact that he was able to forgive magic. Like that last moment of magic, we could have been friends. Like, I love that moment so much. Like, overall, I think that Jawn's story is like, it ends very positively, I think, but it's also very sad. We're mass reporting you. Fun fact, Josh and I was on my birthday and I was using my birthday wish to keep you alive. F you. Holy cow. Well, you kind of failed. So, you know, you kind of failed there. I'm really sorry. Spidey, what's up? It's too high up. Look. Wait, you know what? Actually, Spotty, I'm going to have to kill you next time I see you. I'm sorry, but it's kind of Jover. It's kind of Jover at this point. Excuse me? Look, I'm sorry. You really pissed me off by the end of it, all right? I'm just saying. Yo, Big Alley, thank you so much for giving Spidey a sub. Let's go. Look, this entire thing. Also, fun fact, guys, I met Spidey while we were hanging out in San Diego, actually, like at TwitchCon last year. That was the first time I met Spidey, and I was like, when I heard Spidey was in this too, I was so happy. I was like, Spidey, let's go, W, let's go. Yeah, no, we hung out at like a burger place. I think it was called The Melt or something like that. It was really good though. It was pretty good. But yeah, no, I gave a whole reason why I put Ish here because like, I think at the beginning of the series, Jawhn would have had him here. I think he would have put him in Argue with, but by the end of it, I think he saw him more as a, what do they call it? I think he saw him more as like, okay, I understand why bro was the way he was by the end of it. And it was so sad. It was so sad, but all right, guys, screenshot this. Put this on the Decayed Decrepit wiki. Wait, do I need to be there? Wait. There we go. All right, there we go. W. Personally, I would die for Wiffies. I would fight for Spidey. You know what? That's true. Yeah, actually, where are you at, Spood? All right, so, Spood, I'm sorry, but I'm actually going to have to fight you, but like in a yaoi kind of way. all the question marks. All the question marks. Guys, what's the question marks about? We talking about no comment. I've spoken to my lawyer. They said for me to say no comment. Well, listen, buddy. If you say no comment, I'm just gonna assume you would die for me too. So in a way, you're kind of confirming the yaoi. You can't just not knowingly after that. What about our bromance, John? Wookie, did you hear my reasons? Wookie, did you hear my reasons why you're not up here? It's very sad why you're not up there. It's so sad. Yeah, I heard. Spidey would have put 4C and would kill. Oh my god. I love the idea. I love the idea that like that's a literal, like this is literally, so that's where he would be. It's kind of crazy. I love it. I love the silence was loud. W gamers. Let's go. All right. Well, let's go in. I think we can head into in-game now. All right. Any of the Decayed and Decrepit cast in chat right now. If you all would like to say stuff about your character in or on the stream, feel free to hop onto the Minecraft server because I am about to hop in here as well, and we are going to explore the map a little bit, guys. I'm very excited for this. All right, and I actually have creative, so I can kind of fly around too, which is really nice at this point. We love to see it. We love to see it. Thank you for the pats. Let's go, W. All right. My take, Spidey was the real villain. In parentheses, real. Rusty, thank you for the patch. Let's go. Gray! 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 Give me a G. Give me an R. Give me an A. Give me a Y. Please and thank you. Also, I feel like something's wrong with my, wait. Oh, let me update my, okay, hopefully this doesn't crash my PC. Let's see what happens. Just kidding. I know y'all can see the chat in the background, which is why I didn't hold it for too long. Oh, God. Imagine, though. All right, guys, if you are a Decayed Decrepit cast member, hop onto the Decayed Decrepit server. I want you all to talk to chat as well. Also, it did nothing to fix the lag issues on my thing. This is crazy. This is crazy. I feel like we should actually ban Gray, to be honest. John, is the Decayed Decrepit server available for all people going to the Minecraft server? No, unfortunately, we're keeping it only for the Decayed Decrepit cast. But we shall see. We shall see. Maybe the map will be released one day. Maybe. All right, let's head into in-game gamers. See ya, Bug. Have a good one. All right, here we are. Let me put my screen on here. All right. Hello, guys. In case anybody told you that you can't be super awesome about things, just look at this. I turned the grave into a stage. Yeah, let's go. Also, while I'm at it, hold on. Let me just do this real quick, guys. There's something I need to tell you all about. I need to tell you all a little thing here. If you ! Poster in the chat, guys, we have posters. The Decayed and Decrepit cast has posters. That's right. We have posters available for you all to have. Let me go ahead and grab the image and put it on screen real quick. GAD poster. What the frick was that in the background? Did I just see that right? Oh, wait, that was the dog. Also, there's a zombie nearby. All right, let me put this on screen for you all here. If you all go to creatormerch.com and you go to the Decayed and Decrepit area, you all will see there is a poster available for you all to get of our group, of the hostile group, of the Sun and Moon, of the entire cast, all available on creatormerch.com. If you all go there now, you all can get it. And ours is actually digitally signed. So each of the cast members, we each signed the poster. So you'll see mine up. Let's see. Can I put my? Oh, I can't show it on screen. Dang it. Yeah, each one of us signed it digitally. So if you all want to go grab a copy of this, we all digitally signed our Truth Seekers poster, and there are 3 others available as well. And it's freaking awesome. It's freaking awesome, and it looks so good. This was created by Lasaya and Doge, and they absolutely killed it. Beautiful work of art, and apparently this was their first ever commission? Hello? The frick? Like, that's crazy. I couldn't believe it when they told me that. Like, I genuinely couldn't believe it. But apparently this is their first ever commission, and it just looks beautiful. It just looks beautiful. So if y'all want it, go to the, hold on, let me go ahead and pin that one message to the, let's see, let me go ahead and pin this to the thing. All right, if you all want the posters, head over there now. And wait, is that Lasaya Doge? Oh my God, wait, Lasaya Doge, hello. Hello, Lasaya Doge. They're absolutely amazing. Make sure you go follow them on Twitter. They're amazing. They're genuinely amazing. So make sure you all go and check out their stuff. They're awesome. Also, I need the VIP Woogie. Also, is it just Woogie or is it Woogie X? I'm gonna VIP the wrong Woogie, aren't I? Yay! Let's go! And let me VIP Lasaya Doge as well, because they're freaking goated. All right. You love me? Exactly. Also, we have Zop. Why? Guys, 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 what? Why is there a zombie with that? Why is that in the background? Oh, let me put this in the corner. That way you all can go check it out on Creator Merch. There we go. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh god, that's horrifying. That's actually horrifying. Wait, is Woogie over here? Is that Woogie? Wait, where's Woogie? TP Woogie. Oh, that's Woogie. So he finally turned, huh? Yeah, he actually turned. All right, let's go and say hello to them, guys. Let's go say hello to them in game. Did Ish ever play as Fat Eric? I don't think so. Seneca. All right, let's go ahead and go in game, everyone. Let's go in game. Sin! Woogie! Assume that's Josh!
Hello.
Hello! Sin! Oh.
I had to mute your stream because you were like screaming at the same
Sin! That's awesome. That's so cool. Let's go, guys. We have most of the truth. Oh, someone asked earlier, Truth Seekers, how we got that name. So we actually got that name. I think someone in chat actually put it. They were like, "Oh yeah, look at these people. They're basically the Truth Seekers of the cast, basically." And it just kind of stuck. It was awesome. That was such a good name. So it was quite beautiful. Pink Alliums, was it you that said that or something like that? Also, we got a real life Woogie in the background. That's crazy. That's crazy. We got actual Woogie in the back. He said sub. That's amazing. All right, cool. Well, welcome to the in-game, everybody. We are actually in the physical world of the of Decayed Decrepit. This is the actual server. So I do have all of the stuff I had in the last session, including my infection. If we go for 4 more hours, I fear I might turn. So, you know, what can we say about that? All right. Yo, John needed another voice line. Shut up, Nom. Frick you. I'm taking you away your VIP. I'm taking your VIP away, you frick. All right. Do you want to sit down here? I'm curious to know what, like, some fun facts and stuff that you all have about. Like, that'd be awesome. Hello, Enter! Thank you. Thank you for being here and being amazing. Yuppie.
I feel like I'm not gonna take one of the flower chairs. That's like stolen valor. That's not my.
Oh, here. I'll give you. There you go. There we go. There we go. Oh, you're sitting in your next to yours. Oh, wait, you've stolen. Oh, wait, no, you're fine. You're perfectly fine.
Yeah,
there we go.
This is good.
Actually, you know what, Josh? You have to. You got to go up there.
Yeah. Okay. That works.
Actually, you know what? You have to go. You have to go up here. All right. Actually, you kind of have to. You have to go. Oh, wait. All right, there we go. Yeah, there we go. All right. There we go.
Cool.
There we go. All right, perfect. All right, nice. Let's go. All right. Well, I was giving everyone a little bit of my lore a little bit earlier. I know, Sin, yours got very prematurely cut off, which is very sad. I was very sad about that one.
Sorry.
Yeah. Sid, what was your like, I guess, overall plan for your character as well, as you sort of like, if you didn't actually die there?
Oh my god. Okay, so I was supposed to like slowly forget things until my memory just resets and all I remember was one very traumatic thing that caused me to lose them in the first place. And that was how it was supposed to be, that I forget everything except that. And then I finally remember that, but everything else is nothing to me. It's just that memory.
Wow.
So,
that's so tragic.
You eventually.
Oh my god. Wait, so what do you think your ending would have been? Like, what do you think, like, you would have like would you have like left the city? Would you have like maybe even got like infected or whatever? What did you initially like envision, I guess, for your ending?
Okay, so that one's a little bit complicated because I was gonna try and work with event staff for something if I had gotten to that point. Because here's the thing, my character actually has a hint of cannibalism to the character. Oh
wait, John was gonna be cannibalistic in the beginning too. Holy cow!
Cannibal.
Yeah,
Cannibal.
yeah.
I think we just found a new team name.
Yeah, you know what? We should call ourselves the cannibal quad.
The cannibal.
Yeah, that would have been a really big theme of the group. If you had survived.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe it's for the better.
Yeah, maybe it's for the better. You died a little early.
Yeah. So at some point they were like asking me, because I was like explaining my like background story to them, and I'll get into that in a second, but they were asking me if I wanted to be like infected too as a part of my lore, and I was just like, I wanted to do it because the thing is I cannibalized my partner, the very person I was looking for.
Oh my god! Wait, is that canon to your character?
That is canon to my character.
Oh my god! So we got some fun facts here, chat. We got some fun facts here, chat.
That's what the Reddit was.
The memories that I lost them because I had to watch him die and get mauled by zombies over the course of 3 days, right? And that's why mine resets every 3 days. However, I was also left in a situation where I had no food, no water, I needed something, and then essentially the same thing that like happened to Jaw at the end where he was going low-key like schizo and like hallucinating everybody. Like that's what happened to me. And he was just like, eat me. Just eat me. It's okay.
What the frick?
It's okay, baby. And then
Wait, so
I'm
you
like,
had like a freaking like, what's that one movie with Tom Hanks where he's on the island and he's like just having like that little ball next to him as his friend? Like
Lost?
No, that's
I
not.
had a
Wait,
Wilson moment.
What's it
I
called?
had a Wilson moment.
Oh.
Wait, what is it called again? I don't remember.
Castaway?
What the movie is called. Castaway, is it?
I think it's Castaway, guys. Is it Castaway, chat? I think that's Castaway. I think I'm
Castaway.
pretty sure.
Oh,
Yeah. That's crazy.
So that was my backstory, and then I was gonna make it so that I forgot everything except for that one memory. I'm gonna remember that one memory and just go crazy, I guess.
Oh my god. Wait, so your character in like actual, I guess like your canon lore is kind of like less wholesome than the Truth Seekers like lore made it out to be almost, I guess. Like by the end of it, right?
Yeah. Like that's why whenever you would talk about how your character had to do things to survive, like my character obviously does not remember, but in my head, like whenever you would say that, I was like, me too.
Instinctively,
Me too, I wish I could-
you as a character thought about that. I
Yeah.
see.
That's why at the end there, where it was just like when you were willing to do whatever it takes, I'm just like, I kind of. So some part of me respects that. I don't know.
That's crazy, guys. So you heard it here first. Sin's character was canonically a cannibal. So do that as you will. Oh my god! Rotation. Hi.
Hello?
Oh,
All right, and I have a question for.
Too.
My cannibal? No, I showed up to tell you that Venus says you suck.
What the
Oh.
frick? Oh wait, Woogie specifically or me?
Yeah, no, Wiggy specifically.
Oh, I'm
No,
fair. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
I've mentioned for Venus as well.
Yeah? Oh, okay. I'll stick around there, because I'm bored, so.
That's awesome. All right, Woogie, I do have a question specifically for you because I know your character. You gotta stop doing that in front of me, man. You gotta stop doing that in front of me. So one thing that I know your character was like a lot more like near the beginning, you had like a very different trajectory, I think, as your character sort of like went along. I'm curious from your perspective, if you didn't get infected, how different do you think your story would have been?
Myself, I would have found my daughter.
So you think so it would have been
One thing.
completely different?
I think when I obviously being my floor server, I had a lot of fun making the character, making the backstory, all that stuff. But when it came down to the actual first session, I had a lot of trouble actually implementing that character into like an actual plan. So first session, I was kind of just sticking around, hanging out with you guys, like learning more about the city, all that kind of stuff. And then like I even talked about like recurring thoughts. I better talk about myself, my character. I was kind of just there, and I was enjoying it. But then second session, I was like, all right, I'll start to maybe try and involve stuff. Then I got infected within 5 minutes, and that kind of just threw myself for a loop, and kind of just. It's funny how I figured out I got infected, because I got infected by that baby zombie, and like 10 minutes later, what's it called? I was looking over at my and I saw someone say, "Oh my god, he doesn't know," and someone was like, "He doesn't know he's infected," and I saw like, "What the hell?" Because before, remember how we were all kind of really curious about the whole like messages, chat being like,
Yeah, if that was actually
all
us
that
getting
stuff.
infected. I thought it was
So-
infected for a little bit too, actually.
For those who those messages that pop up, we had no idea if that meant you were infected because no one knew no one was infected. No one actually knew. So we were also curious, like, did we all just get infected on the first day? And then I think like Josh and some other people were like, "Oh, you'll know if you got infected." Jesus. And so then I had no idea. And they're like, "Wait, what do you mean you're infected?" And then I opened my inventory and I see the infection. Just out of character, I was like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me!"
You were just like, "God dang it!"
I was just like, "Wow, low odds, my butt." But looking back, I got hit by so many zombies. I don't know how it took that long.
Jawhn got hit a lot of times during that as well. I'm pretty sure like I got hit at least like 15 times or 16 times over the entire like first few sessions. After a while, I just stopped getting hit, which is probably a good thing. But it was like I got really lucky, I'm pretty sure, over my series of hits, basically like versus like yours. In other words, it's actually a skill issue, to be honest. So
okay. But yeah, so that kind of threw me for a loop. And again, I had a lot of issues like actually implementing my backstory of the character in game. So that's why I was kind of like following around with stuff. And then when it came to being infected, you know, I kind of gave up. And like in the very like in the words where I kind of gave up on what my character could have been and what it should be. And that's why I wanted, because when going into this, I wanted to have the whole like, oh, you know, I'll keep our friends safe, keep them close, make sure they're, you know, they're you know, not gonna get infected, not gonna die.
Yeah.
And so like I remember when we got separated, you know how like we all thought like Magic was infected. I had a whole conversation with Magic, being like, hey, if you even try one thing, because this is after I had my gun, I said, if you even try something, I will not hesitate to kill you. And like doing all that kind of stuff. And then that came down to doing a similar thing with Chuck, where
hold on, rotation. I'm curious. Do you have ADHD?
What? Suspected.
All right, continue. All right, go ahead.
But yeah, so it's like in my head at that moment, I was like, because I went up to the hostel group and asked them like, hey, I heard there's a book, you know, because we learned from Bird that there's a book there, and we need about explaining how the chosen machine works. I asked them, they don't know, and then you guys have been talking to the entire time trying to find stuff out, and he hasn't told anything. And
said nothing, basically.
And then I like say like when I kind of like do something I probably shouldn't have, I was like, oh, the infection is taking control of me. But you know, it was just simple as a little pop. You know, it was.
Yeah.
I said this so many times, both in and out of content. But for those who didn't, I didn't want to kill anybody. I didn't want to kill.
It's gotta be Woogie's fault in some way. Something's gotta be Woogie's fault.
But also keep in mind, I didn't know for days. It was kept a secret. I think it was so much out of content from me, which was really awesome. And I really hate that I keep spoiling myself for it. But because my reaction to learning that I killed Chuck live, oh my god, I would have been so curious on how that would have happened. Same with the whole like and Joe Field dying. If I didn't know before the session, oh my god, it would have been crazy. Such a bad habit of spoiling myself. but yeah, so if I didn't get infected, I definitely would have reached out more to admins to set up. Maybe kind of similar to how you had Rusty, like get like you know another.
Who'd you have in mind for that, or did you have like an idea for who Sophia would be?
I have no clue. I think I was thinking far ahead, where I'm like, dude, it would have been really weird if any of my female creator friends would act as my daughter. I don't know. I maybe could have asked like Ghosty. Like I'm trying to think of like I think like that. Like so I what that would have been like.
Yeah,
I think it would have been cool. Either that or some note or like some reason, like some good conclusion like that. It was either like finding her dead body,
or even like maybe like showing like a way of leaving the city, even like maybe something like that, where like like you know she's not in Paradise City. This opens up a whole new story, kind of thing.
Exactly. Like when I first realized she went missing, like I saw like you know window broken and like tracks going out to the forest. That's kind of how my search started for her. Was the tracks that she left, so kind of ending with the tracks that she left, kind of.
Yeah. No, don't mind them. Don't mind them. They're just.
That was a good job.
That was awesome. That was a good jump. Holy crap! That was beautiful, actually. Holy cow!
Didn't that shit?
Yeah, but no. So that's a very interesting like take on it as well, because like I said, whenever I was when I was like working alongside with you for that kind of stuff too, I was really curious and I had like a what if in my own mind of like, what if I did go into the machine? Like, what if, like, if I think that if Woogie as a character didn't lie to Jawhn, and if he would have been like more upfront and maybe even like not thrown off the journal and like Joe Phil's Bible, I think that Jawhn might have actually sacrificed himself for you. So I'm like, I'm
out of character. I wanted you to because I don't want my story and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But in character, there wasn't a single point in time I was like, Josh should sacrifice himself for me. Ever since I killed Chuck, even before that, like, yeah, you're my daughter, but it's like you have your own made family back at Lazarus, and I think if we're compared, you definitely have more to lose. And every time out of content, I was like, oh, because I theoretically sacrificed himself. Every time I was on the server, like, there is no world where Josh sacrificed himself for Woogie.
Yeah, there's literally like I especially like I said, after that moment on the bridge, I think that was like the big like deciding factor as well, just like in character as well, where it was like there's a certain point when a character just doesn't have a path forward in a specific spot. So it's like it's a blocked off path. Like you lose access to that area basically as like a choice-based system in a way.
That's what was kind of difficult. I feel like a lot of our story, a lot of the story was kind of revolved around trying to figure out like how the Jawless machine works, which definitely was fun.
Yeah, the truth seekers. That's why we're the truth seekers, guys.
Exactly. So, but it started to the point where when I realized the time started to run out, and I realized that I'm clearly not going to get cured. It definitely got to points. It definitely made it a bit difficult to like come up with ideas because we had the whole like the idea of trying to find an infected person, but like out of character, I knew we weren't going to find them. Out of character, I knew it was going to work.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sin popped up, and that was so funny. That was all. Hi, Sin.
Hello.
That's awesome.
Hey, Josh's parkour.
I'm actually so Josh, I'm curious from like your perspective, from like an event staff sort of perspective, like from an outsider's perspective, like did you know where the story was kind of going, like overall from like your point of view? Like, did you know?
Yeah, I TP'd around a lot. I use the spectator menu, so my flashback footage is pretty much me teleporting every 5 seconds, just trying to keep tabs on everything that's going on, making sure that people are like not stuck anywhere, or, you know, trying to prevent like, you know, super big content roadblocks. To make sure people can keep doing stuff, which means that like in terms of like actions that people are taking and like groups that people are hanging out with, I kind of had an eye on everything. When it came to like interpersonal lore and stuff like that, a lot of it was kind of lost on me. But I pretty much had my eyes on like every aspect of the story that was at least happening in the moment.
Yeah. What was I guess like from your perspective, because I actually didn't know why. What was the whole deal with like Mike? Like how did that come along? Like what was the choice behind that?
So I mean, if anyone is like keeping their eyes on the lore as a whole, I can't speak too much to it because it wasn't the part that I made. That was Venus and Claire, but Roghost Enterprises is a really important part of the story. You know, it's a deliberate. It was made around Micro's
I'll go over that soon, Spider Rat.
Like intertwined
that
into
too.
The story. And so there were a lot of really long conversations about what went down with Micro's character, just to figure out like if there was a way that we could like not take away all of the stakes of the entire story, and still like figure out some way of incorporating his character further. So I wasn't there for all of the really, really long talks, but just know that there were several hour-long conversations in PC trying to figure out if that was something we were sticking with.
No, that sounds like a big like decision to have to make too, because that's like at a certain point, like it's like do you know there's more story to be told? But like since it's live, there's no cutting, right? Like you can't cut that.
And
it's
it
like
was so close. And also, like, later on the story, people went to the lower facility, you know, they know that was there. And, like, that was also one that we could kind of explain that he fell into the lower facility, and that was the reasoning.
I see.
Yeah, and you know, because he fell down there on his thing. I will say also that like any plot armor that happened in the series was like heavily. We tried to hold back on it as much as possible, like unless it.
I almost got shot, by the way. Apparently, by What-Ifs.
Yeah. If he had not been a content-minded person who was really trying to be considerate of your perspective, I think What-Ifs had every reason to shoot you in that basement. I think he had every reason and definitely would have if there was not a content creator behind the character. Who was,
I think so. What was it? It was like I think Spood literally told me that he was genuinely DMing like event staff at that point about like, hey, can I kill this guy? Can I kill him? Like I was like Jesus Christ, my man, god dang, I would have been cooked. I think I had some
been really bad.
Yeah, no, true. I think I did have some bullets, by the way, guys, for stuff, but I'm pretty sure What-Ifs' gun and Jonathan's gun was a one shot. I think that was a one tap, wasn't it?
Yeah, it one shots. It does like a ton of damage. So even with a body shot in full diamond, it would have taken you out in a single hit.
Whew. Jesus Christ! And that would I have been like Spood where I exploded immediately, or?
No, that was a bug. That was Spood messing around with commands and adjusting his thing to skip going down on accident. It was not a. Because that was the same gun they shot Forsey with. It was just an oopsie by him messing around with a couple commands, I think.
Oh, got you. I see. Also, guys, go to creatormerch.com. We have posters available. W posters. Anyway, yeah.
Gosh, they're good.
They're so good. I genuinely bought all 4 of them. Okay, I actually have all 4 coming my way. So, just consider it. If you can, don't go into financial debt for it, but consider it. All right. No, yeah, because that was a very interesting thought, I was very interested in that whole plot line when that happened, because genuinely, I was shocked to see Mike back on the server. That one session, I was like, what the frick?
That was part of the goal, that if everyone thought he was dead, we had to like keep it up. So very few people in the cast knew that he was still alive.
Oh.
Did anybody know?
I don't think so, unless they were paying like really close attention, like tab list, and made an assumption. Like I don't think anyone had any confirmation.
Oh, speaking of tab list,
I assumed.
Speaking of, oh wait, I'm gonna go on mute.
Yeah.
Speaking of tab list, by the way, guys, I didn't have my tab list open the entire time. I actively went against having like anything in chat, having any tab list, having like if you watch my stream, it would have been just like you're watching someone's literal like eyesight, basically, which is what I really tried to like keep everyone as like immersed as possible with that. I think the only things that took people out would be like the building menus and stuff like that, but we really couldn't avoid that. Also, unfortunately, Joe Phil is not around right now to answer that question, Atlas, but we're considering doing another Truth Seekers specific podcast kind of thing to answer any questions with like that as well. So, yeah, no, I think
I'm not gonna lie. They had to specifically make a rule to change the tab list keybind because of me.
Wait, did you keep opening it?
Yeah, I leaked that Tommy and it was gonna be there.
Bruh! Oh, rotation. Why are you the way that you are?
Dude, I pressed the button out of instinct.
No, that's why I made it like if I push it, it releases my mouse, so it like basically turns into like an off-screen thing. Because like basically if I push the button, my screen would like dim a little bit, and my mouse would be like free to move around. Because it was basically like a little like a what do they call it, like an off-screen button if I ever needed to go off-screen for anything.
Okay.
So I was like, that's what I basically completely unbound my my tab list thing as well. So that's crazy. In rotation, I guess you're the last one. Did you have any different plans for your character, I guess, in a way? Because like I forgot, was it you that said like you were more like yourself in the series, or?
Oh yeah. Did I have any other plans? Okay, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't have any plans running into it. I had my one character bit.
Yeah.
And then the one thing that I thought I was gonna do is the one thing I thought I was gonna do. I thought at some point I was gonna find a lore book that basically said Rogos did all of this stuff, and I thought I was gonna shoot Mike, but that ended up happening. because
Holy cow!
I got too close to Mike, so I didn't care.
Yeah. Wait, which Josh, who was it that found which groups found the books, by the way, at the factory?
I don't know. I think that's a better question for Venus or Claire.
Got you.
I actually don't remember.
I know that the Truth Seekers, we found a couple of the books, but I know that
yeah,
it might have been Thomas,
them.
I think, that found the other one. I'm pretty sure. So one other group found it. I know one other group had most of those, one of the other books as well. So I wasn't 100% sure. But yeah, no, that's so cool though. Like, I know that going into it, I'm a big proprietor of pushing stories forward in whatever means possible. So it's if Jawhn as a character was very, he was always an act kind of guy. Like every time there was something to do, he would always push forward no matter what. Even if it was dangerous or whatever, you would always see Jawhn as a character pushing forward. And that's one thing that I really wanted to make sure that I do with this kind of series where it's it's whenever there's a mix of new people versus people who are more aware of role playing in general. I try to be that person who does push stuff forward. So for Jawhn and for the way that Jawhn actually kind of worked, he always would find something and that finding would be pushed forward basically. So it was I love this kind of series so much because it's so open-ended, but there were a lot of things that you could look into if you really wanted to. And I gotta give hats off to the Vent staff, the extra builders and stuff like that, because there were so much cool things around that we could interact with and do, and just it led to a lot of really good RP. And stuff like that, and being the lore group, being the one who really sought after a lot of the lore things, it was like a little scavenger hunt. I loved it. It was so cool.
Wait.
Yeah, it was like a perfect storm of mechanics that worked really well.
Yeah.
How many lore books did you find?
How many lore books? I think we found 3 of them.
Oh, okay. I think I cleared my inventory, but I gave the backpack to Venus. My backpack had I think almost 15 lore books.
Oh my
Yeah,
god!
a lot of came from lower facility and.
Oh yeah, we didn't make it in the lower facility for a long time. What the frick was that?
I don't know. I was so sad I couldn't. I started that session, my last session, in the choke machine, and looking over and seeing that I could go down, and I'm like, oh my god, I really want to, but I have to go back and meet y'all.
Oh yeah.
So I remember that I tuned into your stream when you went down the machine, or went down to the lower facility.
Do you think that Jawhn and Woogie would have hugged it out if he would have just went down to the lower facility?
Wait, sorry, what do you mean?
Oh, if Jawhn and Woogie would have just gone down to the lower facility, do you think that they would have just hugged it out?
Maybe.
Just hugged each other, and that would have been good?
Before I die?
Yeah.
Or in a way?
What?
What?
All right, I wasn't turning into Yowies. All right, that was all Woogie. Woogie just did that all on his own. Let me be honest.
I have a question for you, Joe.
Okay. So, sure.
You've asked multiple times that Jaw's not a killer.
Yeah.
I feel like that. Did you go into Decayed Decrepit telling yourself you were never gonna kill anybody?
No, actually, that leads to one of my fun facts. Thank you, Woogie, for that. So, guys, genuinely, I went into the series wanting to be a villain. I went into the series being willing to kill people. For the sabotage. My original thought was that, especially since Jawhn was originally going to be a cannibal, that he was going to actually kill someone. He was gonna like eat them, basically. It was gonna be like Jawhn was gonna be a part villain throughout the story, basically. The original idea was that like I would be like the first half villain, and then I would probably be killed off like on session 4 or 5 or something like that, basically. And that was the original plan. I had exit strategies at session 4, session 6, and session 8. I was originally gonna leave multiple times throughout this series. And the thing was, the story kept pulling me back in. And it was like, the whole idea was that like, if I was going to leave in session 4, Jawhn was going to be a cannibal. That would have been near the time when he probably would have died in session 4. Session 6, I would have left after Woogie's death, but mine and Zora's plot line was really starting to like thicken then. So I was like, okay, let's go in and just stick around for a little bit longer. R.I.P. Zora in the next session, I suppose. It was like, it was very interesting when it came to that point. And then session 8, if I would have made the choice for Jawhn to choose to go chase after magic or to go and leave the boat with Rusty, I personally would have had him leave there. Why the frick are you small? And that's the big thing. It's like, that's why, and this is a piece of advice I give to like any RPers in the chat as well. If you all like have like a plan going into a story, like I would say, Jesus Christ, Woogie's huge. No yaoi involved. But anyway, there's a,
Yeah.
If the big thing, if you are doing RP or doing any sort of like roleplay in any way, always be willing to change up your plans. Be willing to like, be very like moldable with the story. Jawhn didn't come into the story planning on being some sort of like misunderstood hero. He came into the story originally as a villain. So like when it comes to RP especially, you have to be willing to change your plans if it makes for a better story. My interaction with Sin, Jofeel, Woogie, Zora, like our stories would have been so different if I would have been a villain. My story would have been a lot different if Sin and Jofeel didn't die. And if Woogie didn't die, our story would have been completely different as well. So it's like for anyone who is interested in RPing and stuff like that, my biggest piece of advice, like, if you do something, go all in with it. And if you choose to actually run in with a plan, be willing to shift that plan on the fly, because it leads to so many cool things. And I should also point this out. Originally, I was going to be more of a villain in Jonathan's POV. In session 5, I was going to meet up with Jonathan, and we were going to have like some sort of like interaction where we'd end up being like some sort of villainous toward each other. And it could have happened where I might have been the Wiffies of the group. So we were considering doing that originally too. But I was like, I basically told Spood that I wanted to just like go into it like without any sort of plans, because I thought that just led to a lot more interesting stuff as well. But it was like, I was originally going to be a... Is he down? Is he... Oh my God, he's dead! Oh God, he's dead! Oh no! Yeah, we became the yaoi instead. Exactly. No, literally. So like, no, like I said, I think that is that's my biggest probably fun fact about what Jawhn was originally going to be as the story sort of continued as well. Because yeah, he was originally going to be the villain, and I think that would have led to a vastly different story in the series if Jawhn was that villain, but he ended up choosing not to be because of like the people he interacted with and stuff like that, and it just led to a really cool thing. Jawhn when pulling two men be like, no, literally, Atlas, literally. Like, all I'm saying is that Woogie and Jonathan really did like Jawhn. You know, what can I say? You know what I mean? I did soften up. I blame Sin for that. I blame Sin and Jofeel for that one. Sin and Jofeel made Jawhn soften up, basically. It was so sweet. It was good. It was such a good, it's what led to that final scene being so awesome on the bridge. And speaking of that scene on the bridge, let me talk about the ghosts. So there's basically like something that we have on the server that lets us like haunt people where only specific people can actually see individuals. And for me, that the only interaction we had with ghosts planned was that first moment after I downed magic at the beginning of session 9. And the coolest part about that is that we originally went in with just the idea of, okay, let's have this scene and we'll just see what happens with the rest of it. We'll see what goes down. So that scene goes down, right? I didn't tell them any script. I didn't say any script or anything. That I was like, Woogie, convince and Sin, correct me if I'm wrong, but I literally DM'd the group chat. I said, just try to convince me. Just try to convince me, basically. And I was like, be as convincing as possible to me and make me want to kill her, basically. And that's what led to Woogie's really awesome, "We're dead because of her." Like, that line was awesome. Like, that line genuinely made me like smile and just like, oh, that was awesome. That was freaking sick. And I was like, what do they call it? The way that whole thing went, I went back to the graves after, right? But whenever I was standing there, I was thinking in my mind, wait, are they online? I wonder if they could haunt me right now. I wonder if they could still haunt me. And I was like, okay. I said, oh, what is going on with Woogie right now? And I was like, yeah, no, when Zora said, "What kind of leader are you?" I was like, oh, my heart. Like, I felt that one. I felt that in my soul. And whenever I was, when we were on the bridge, I actually messaged the group. Like, that's why during that scene, I stopped moving for a second, because I go to message the group and I say, "Hey guys, just letting you all know, y'all can haunt me still again if you want to. I would love that, do that." And I didn't give them any like ideas for like how to do it, why to do it, or when to do it and stuff like that. But those motherfuckers decided to go into a voice chat and put together a plan for their own selves to appear before me. In a certain order, a certain way, the groups being together and stuff like that, and when they were going to do it. And I was like, I had no idea when they were going to do it. So every single moment of me being like surprised by what happened and when they appeared, like, that was genuine. I had no idea. It was crazy. You saw the coordination. It was so sick. Let's go. It was beautiful. And they were plotting. They literally were plotting. And the biggest thing as well was that they planned each person showing up when they did. And then for the final bit, with the last showing up, they plotted the disappearing. And they plotted the order that they were disappearing in as well. And I was like, oh my God, my freaking heart, dude. Like, my freaking heart. They got me. I had genuine tears coming down my eyes during that whole time. And, it's like, in those moments whenever like I start actually crying in RP, that's also like a big part of any RPer who's in chat. Just go with it. If you actually start to lean into the emotions of those scenes, the audience will feel it. They'll know. They'll be able to tell that you are actively crying, hurting, feeling sad. Like, it will be awesome when they do it. So if you ever feel yourself starting to like tear up during that,
he didn't live.
What the frick happened there? But it was like that's another big piece of advice. Like, if you feel yourself, like, just lean into those moments. It can only lead to awesome scenes and things like that too. So yeah, it's freaking so yeah, nothing was planned except for that opening scene, and then everything after that was completely improv, which was awesome. So yeah, that's what I like how they downed Woogie again. Oh wait, hold on, wait, Woogie, I got you. Hold on, I got you.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I like how you say. Now you do it with one hit.
I did it
Now
with,
you
yeah,
do
I
it
know.
with
In the
one
actual
strike.
scene, I did it with 2. It was crazy. Or 4. No, it was 4 hits.
4. Now you one-shot me.
Also, what were you going to say, Woogie, before I killed you?
I don't know. Yeah,
That's
you're
hilarious.
saying, like, the scene with like us haunting was so chaotic. The
Oh,
first
really?
time, when we first showed up, we had no idea how it worked. We're trying to, because we're all on a Discord call, so we're trying to figure out like, wait, how about like we unmute in game? Like, wait, we can't hear or see each other because like that made sense.
Oh, yeah.
We're like-
Yeah.
We were also like, okay, how about unmute in Discord so we can hear what each other is saying, so we don't start overlapping. But it was still really confusing because we had to like, we're looking at yours. We weren't like standing on top of each other and kind of stuff, and it was pretty funny. And then like the final scene, we're trying to organize ourselves and like with our graves or stuff, and I think we ended up getting it wrong. I think Sin and Joe feel like mixed up. Oh yeah, don't kill Venus. Wait, give me the axe. Actually,
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. One second.
Yeah, I basically executed Woogie, by the way. Like, actually, it's kind of crazy. John, by the way, when you saw Ghost Zora in the machine area and hugged her, were you just hugging yourself? In a sad way, I think he was. I think Jawhn was literally just hugging himself. Like, he was like going to Zora for comfort, but Zora wasn't there, obviously, right? So it's like, in a twisted way, it's just a really sad way of like, he was trying to comfort himself for that one too. So, also, I do have a note about each one of the ghosts. I did send them like a little bit of like a recommendation for how they would play the character, I suppose. Because in my eyes, these weren't actually these characters. They were like manifestations of these characters as Jawhn's emotions. So let me tell you all who each one represented. So Woogie was representing Jawhn's like bloodlust, his want to kill and his want to like hurt someone. And in this case, it was Magic. He was wanting to hurt Magic and kill her. So Woogie represented Jawhn's bloodlust. Zora represented Jawhn's insecurities. So if you all listened, everything that Zora said in that first ghost area was like a stab through the heart of like, yeah, this is why we died, because you're not the good leader you thought you were. Like that kind of thing. It was very much so like Jawhn being like harsh on himself as a leader, basically. Jesus Christ, guys. And then Jophil represented, I would say, Jawhn's like care for humanity. Because Jawhn saw Jophil as a character who was morally just and wanted to like save people, basically, is what he saw Jophil as. And that's what Jophil represented in Jawhn's mind. And lastly, Sin represented, I would say, the innocence of Jawhn and his want to be good. Because that's how Jawhn saw Sin as a character. Like, he saw Sin as this character who was good, who was not a cannibal, you know what I mean? And you know, it's like, I think if Jawhn like knew that about Sin too, he might not have, but you know, it's so funny. But no, that's like, each one of them represented a part of who Jawhn was. And I think that was just really cool, and that really did work. We ignore the arson, and we also ignore the cannibalism as well. So that's, you know, we ball here. You know, we ball here. So yeah, like each one of the ghosts represented those sort of like mental states of Jawhn. And as the session kind of went along, we started to really put together this like sort of, what do they call it? Like Jawhn was starting to go through the stages of the grief as the session went along. And it just worked out really good. It just worked out really freaking good. And I think that the whole idea of it was just like, we didn't think about that until like halfway through. Like halfway through the session, we started to really think about that as well. And it just worked. It just worked. And it like I said, I'm really proud of that last session. Because the session itself is just so good. It's so well paced. It pays off a lot of the stuff that's been building in the series. And I don't know, like looking back at this series, like as a whole retrospective of this series as well, I think Jawn's story is a very like round story. Like you can watch his POV and be satisfied with the story that you were just told. And I love that. That was one of my favorites things about it. That's what I wanted to do with this series as well. So Jawhn's story was very awesome because of the people that I was working with and putting this together with. So like I said, if things fell apart like with the character like halfway through, then that would have just happened. You know what I mean? But you know, like we ended up getting it right and it just kind of worked, and I love it. I'm very happy with how it sort of went. So yeah, no, that's what it happened with like the ghost side of stories as well. So was it planned for Magic to kill Zora? I think from Zam's POV, yes. I think. I had no idea. I actually had no idea that Magic was going to kill Zora in that moment. But Zam wanted to die that session because I believe Zam was heading out of town. So that's why Zam was like, I'm okay with Zora dying here at this point. And that's why Zam was like, oh yeah, no, this is where I need to die. Like I said, it's weird how well all these deaths did like work for Jawhn's story. Because each one really did feed into his storyline in a very real way. Like if Sin didn't actually die, it was one of those, I couldn't hurt Sin there. But you know, if Sin didn't die and Jofil didn't die in that opening session, or in that session 4, then it would have been a vastly different story. I don't think that Jawhn would have moved as sympathetic as he would have been after that point. Which is like I said, that's why I love series like this. And like, you never know what's going to happen. You have no idea. And Decayed Decrepit is generally like my new standard when it comes to these kind of series as well, just because it's so well put together. It's so well done. All the characters, all the world building, the setting, just everything worked together to make such a great story. And like I said, I can't tip my hat off enough to the event staff, to the crew, to everyone who worked on this series, because it's just so well done, so well crafted. So can we get a W for all the staff, the crew, and all the cast, please? Because like the Jawhn's story is like, I love Jawhn's story so much, but there's so much more to Decayed and Decrepit than just my story, than just like Magic's story to Sap's story. It's all the stories coming together to make a banger story like this. So it's just beautiful. No, I love it so much, guys. And like I said, make sure to support all the cast, the crew. Make sure you all follow everyone who is a part of this series as well. Because it's, like I said, I just love Decayed Decrepit. It's genuinely my new standard for these kind of things. So yeah, shout out to all of them. It's quite beautiful, and I love it so much. So let me see. I did have some more fun facts that I can toss your way as well. Let me see. Oh, here's a tragic one in terms of Jawhn's backstory. So if you follow my storyline, Jawhn's mother dies in, I think it was session 5 or 6, one of the two. Originally in that cinematic, Jawhn's father was going to blame him. But the way that Lagundo played Jawhn's father in that scene, I couldn't get it to work character-wise. So I just kind of left it. I just kind of left it there. And it was like, there's like hints of resentment almost in the way they talk, but there's no like Jawhn's father saying, "You're the reason your father died." It's like, you know, it was just kind of how it went. You know what I mean? It was like insinuated, I think, in a way. So it's like, that's a very interesting fun fact, because like that could have really shifted how Jawhn saw his actions as well, and why he chose to go about it that way too. If the other 3 had gotten infected and you had to put them down, would you be able to do it for each of them? The 3 of them being, I'm assuming, Sin, Jofil, and Zora. I think the hardest one out of all of those probably would have been Sin. The easiest one out of those probably would have been Jofil, because I think Jawhn sees Jofil as just like stronger than a lot of them. I also think that Zora would be one that's like, that would be such a tragic one, especially because I think Jawhn would have been like so emotional during that one. But I think in the end, he understands what it's like for someone he cares about to be infected because he saw his mother get infected. You know, I think that's a big part of his character sort of like line in his character's journey was that like he understood that he's living in this world, right? And he knows he had to put down people. And I think that's another reason why he would want to be put down. I think Jawhn would have wanted to be put down for this, which does make it a bit like quite sad that he was eventually going to be put down by people in Lazarus in his ending. And I think that's why he also put Woogie down. Woogie was like a character that Jawhn saw as deeply tragic. I think he saw like the opportunity for him to find his daughter, but he understood the world that he lived in, and he knew he had to put him down for this situation, basically. So yeah, the way Woogie's nodding. What is your opinion? How is your found family of truth seekers, like their dynamic? I actually think that it was one of the best versions of a found family dynamic that you could have, because every one of them disagreed in some way with each other, but they chose to be with each other still. And that's what like a family does. That a found family chooses to stay with each other regardless of their differences, and they don't always agree. That's why like Sin and Jofil choosing to stay with Jawhn, even though he was going to hell and back for Woogie and they didn't agree with it. Like, that's why it hits so hard. That's why like Sin and Jofil's death, like basically right after that, is so tragic, because it's like they chose to stick by their family. They died for it. They died for their family. And it's like that moment hits so hard for those characters. And I love being able to like see those found family dynamics, but like not every single like duo, quad, trio is a found family. You know what I mean? Like not every single quad and all that kind of stuff is a found family in every single series, right? So it's like, I think that like there's a lot of little nuances to a found family that turns them into a found family. And I think that like the Truth Seekers groups was a very good example of a found family because of how we all disagreed with each other in a lot of different ways. And it just made that family dynamic so much more impactful for that too. Cause we saw eye to eye on some things, and we cared about each other so much. And we were able to look through our dynamic and our like differences to really always stand next to each other, no matter what. And I love that. I love that kind of family dynamic when it comes to that kind of thing too. So yeah, that's the dynamic for them as well. Let me see. Let me find another one here. So this is a little bit of a fun fact for just myself. This was my first ever live stream lore series. So I have never done a live stream lore series. The furthest thing I've done was Soul Hunt, which is a recorded series, a session-based series. But this was my first time ever doing a live stream series where there was like heavy lore, heavy RP, and heavy like character decisions and things like that. And it's like, I'm so proud of how this all happened. And I was so scared going to that first session, and you could ask Rusty about this. Like I was so nervous going into this series. I was scared. But you know, it came along so well. It went very well. And thank you all so much for the kind words. Y'all have been like hearing everyone's kind words and reading through like the love mail and stuff like that has been so sweet. Y'all are so kind to me and so kind to our group and everyone on Decayed Decrepit, and it just makes me so happy to see that. And I'm really glad that you all enjoyed this story as well. Because like I said, I'm very proud of what we did. And I'm very proud of like what we sort of created, even if it was my first lore series. Like it went very well for the first lore series. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Like I think initially I started out with like 5 viewers. My first episode had 5 viewers in the first session. And in the final session, I had 400. Like that was crazy. And it just like I said, it means the world that you all wanted to see this series and wanted to see John's story be told. Because yeah, going from 5 viewers to 400 for that was just crazy. That was just insane to me. So would you say that you loved all the group in a very particular, complicated way then? Yes. No, John, I think loved each member of the group in his own way. Each one had a very different like hold on him for sure. So it was a very different one for each one as well. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, let me see if there's any more fun facts. And if not, we will go explore the map a little bit. Let's see. Oh, here's what I want to tell you all from Zora's POV, from Zam's POV. You all might have heard me say it before, but Zam had to get into a voice to play Zora, right? Now, every time before the session would start, Zam would have to get into the voice to use the voice. And apparently, Zam would say lines like, I need to kill Jawhn, I need to kill Woogie in order to get into the voice. So Zam would freaking get into a voice by talking about killing me and Woogie. That's freaking crazy.
Wait,
hello?
kind of awesome, actually.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I love it. It's so funny. So like
training using death threats as your keywords. That's awesome.
He DM'd me. Zam actually DM'd me that. He was like, hey, Jawhn, I need to tell you something. So every time before stream, I would say lines to get into the voice, and they would all be about killing you and Zwookie. It's so funny. It's so actually funny. To be fair, Woogie deserved it, but did Jawhn deserve it? I don't know. To be fair, did.
What about me?
Oh crap! He's a creative frick. All right. Oh, let's go! W, let's go! Yeah, I didn't deserve it, right, Carol? I didn't deserve it. Jawhn definitely did not deserve it. Okay. Also, I would like some... Huh? What's up, Rotation?
I remember I had this one conversation with you in character. Did you actually kill someone? How many people have you killed?
In Decayed Decrepit?
No, just like as your character, like Jawhn.
Oh! Oh, gosh. It would have to be at least double digits, I would say, just because Jawhn is the leader of a group, right? At least. What the frick?
You're evil, bro.
No, like John's not a good guy. I feel like I need to say that again. Like Jawhn is not a good person, but he is willing to do what's necessary to survive for his people, right? Because like I mentioned in my tier list, there are people that Jawhn would kill for, or theoretically would kill for. He doesn't want to kill people, but he would kill people, because if he needs to survive, he'll do it. And he also put down Jofield, Woogie, and he also was about to kill, Magic as well. So it is very, he's not a good guy. He's not a good guy, but he's a very, he's a flawed, sympathetic character, I would say. And I think that's what makes him interesting. That's what makes him really a character you love to watch, because he's not simple. He's not a simple character. He has done many bad things over the series, but he's someone that you would like to root for anyway. Also, why is Woogie so realistic in the background? That's crazy. Yeah, Leo plays realistic Woogie. Let's go. Oh yeah, I did see that. Jawhn letting Magic live also dooms Saps. Yeah, Magic actually told me that was the plan too. So it's like I needed to play Jawhn as like, I'm doing this and I think I'm doing the right thing. So I didn't play it as if he knew he was leading someone to their own death either. So it was like, yeah, that kind of had to happen. So, all right, let's do.
I have a question before we do map square.
Oh yes.
I guess kind of basic question. Is there anything you regret, or anything that you do differently?
Anything that I would do differently?
I have one of those.
Mr. Parrot.
Me personally, I like, as you might have seen in the series, like when someone's downed, they can kind of swing their arms and shoot their gun, but it doesn't actually hurt anything once you're down.
Oh
like,
yeah.
So when within reason, like if we were gonna do anything with plot armor, it had to be something that made
Atlas,
a lot
that's
of
a really
sense.
good question.
And I pretty much had the command
I'll answer that in a
ready
second.
to get the last zombie that was attacking Seneca on the ground, but I wasn't fast enough on
Oh.
it. And in theory, like, that could have been something, because Seneca also wasn't streaming, and Seneca was like swinging sword at the zombie that was attacking them on the
I
ground.
think Jofil also did that too. Like Jofil was
Yeah.
swinging at the zombies too, trying to get them away.
But the thing is, so they actually, because you didn't catch Seneca's death on your perspective. Jofil died like 15 seconds earlier, because Seneca was down at the bottom of the building and had a little bit of extra time, and then after being down there for a little bit, one of the zombies that you watched kill Jofil managed to drop down and finish Seneca off. And I was trying to get it so that like we would only, but yeah.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
It was really unfortunate, and there was a chance that could have potentially gone better, but it didn't, and it happened in the story and it worked out, and it meant that the people understood the stakes, but
yeah. It sucked because like that's one thing. I don't know if I would do it differently, quote unquote, but like I think that if Sin and Jofil could have survived longer to tell more of their stories, I think that would have been awesome. I think that would have been one thing I would change. But I think that it happening also did make for a really cool story overall. So it's like, I wouldn't actually change it. But bye, Venus. Have a good one. I think that like it's something that I wouldn't actually change. It's something that like was very sad in the moment, because I know Jofil was like after Jofil died, they were like, that was it. Like I was like, I felt so bad after. They were like, that's how I go, and it made me sad for them as well. And I'm like, but like at the end of it, like I think that like one big thing about like this story, like the thing about Jawn's story, it's a story of loss. It's a story of like moving forward, and a story of like choosing to keep living no matter what. And Jawhn choosing to, basically Jawhn almost killed himself like on that bridge at one point. Like he was going to for a second. He felt like such a failure after Zora's death that it was like he genuinely thought that he was a failure. But I didn't like where that story would have gone, because that's also a very pessimistic story. I think the story is much better with Jawhn coming to terms with his death, coming to terms with the fact that he may have made the wrong choice, but that doesn't mean that he has to like live, like that doesn't mean he has to die for it. And it's like the last scene with Jawhn saying, I have to keep the part of me that's human. That line, I'm so proud of that line. That, like, all my lines were improv, by the way, guys. I'm very proud of a lot of the lines I said. But like that line specifically is one that people have used in like the TikTok edits and stuff like that. And I adore that line so much, because it's such a good and positive cap on Jawn's story, because that's something that we should all do. Like keeping that part of you that is human is very important, and keeping that part of you that wants to keep on living, like keep going. You know what I mean? Like that's, no matter what the situation is, you can keep trying. And that's what Jawhn is. Jawhn is a trier. He tries every time, for better or for worse in a lot of situations here, but he always tries. And like after that moment that Seneca and Jofil died, like I was also considering leaving at that point, but you know, Jawhn had people he cared about. He had Woogie still out there, and stuff like that. So it was like, I think at the end of it, Jawn's story is it's a cautionary tale that has a positive story, or that has a positive like outlook on life. Because that last line is, I get to spend the rest of the time with my family. I get to actually say goodbye. Like, it's just so perfect. I would not change anything about Jawn's story. I would keep it exactly how it was, because I am so proud that every decision that Jawhn made, every decision that happened to Jawhn was fulfilled in that last session. And I think that's one of those moments I feel like it's hard to get a story that is satisfying from everyone's point of view, but from Jawn's point of view, it's a satisfying it's a satisfying cap to his storyline. So to answer your question, Wiggy, I would not change anything about the story. I think in retrospect, especially, I think John's story is super full and super rounded in terms of like the storyline that was told in there.
I always wonder if me not missing the session where Sin and Joe feels died, if I could have helped save them.
No, that could have been so different too. Exactly.
You know, obviously, if I was there and they didn't die, it probably wouldn't have seemed as impactful. But
Miss Mystica, thank you so much for the kind words. Appreciate you.
That would have actually impacted their thoughts on me. Because what
I
was saying was like, I wish Sin and Joe was able to stay alive. They asked was like, theoretically, would one of you guys have killed me? Like, would have ended up in a point where you guys would have been the one to kill me maybe instead of a Jaw, or like maybe had like a divorced family moment, or like you and Joe feel splitting up. Like that conversation would have been insane.
Well, that's what
I decided to take a stupid vacation for this one session, and I'm sitting at home watching this, and I hear I look at the Discord and I hear like, wow, that was the worst session. I'm like, oh my god, I missed absolutely everything. Forces died, Sin and Joe feeling dead. I'm just sitting there.
You're over there molding for sure. Well, Atlas, someone like Atlas asked in chat earlier, if Sin and Jofiel would have actually left Jawhn during session 4 instead of going with him, that would have drastically changed John's story. I'm pretty sure, because like I actually don't think they would have died if they would have split from Jawhn, or if they would have split with Jawhn. I'm pretty sure they would have lived. Because they probably would have gone somewhere different than the hostel for that moment as well. But I think that probably would have also set Jawhn either on a very tragic like villain arc, or did you make me slightly taller?
Yeah, doing it very incrementally over the source of like an hour.
That's so funny. I love that. Oh, thank you, Woogie. There's no time for Yowie right now, Woogie. You can't stop.
There's a time for Yowie.
No! Don't shrink me now!
Yeah,
no!
This is normal height. You're back to default. That's how
Oh, wait, I feel small.
Bigger.
I feel small now. What the frig?
You want to feel small?
Oh my god. This is actually canonical Jawhn height, by the way.
It is.
Oh, I don't have any bullets. Oh, wait, I do have bullets. I missed. Wait, Sin, can you go into game mode survival real quick?
There you go.
Oh, okay, there you go.
There we go. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. You have to see this is actually what Jawhn was like. If Sin would have left Jawhn, this is what would have happened. So that's that's canonical, guys. That's canonically what Jawhn would do. So as he puts Seneca in freaking would die for category, crazy. That's crazy. Actually, this is probably a good thing to put out there, probably. As far as ship art and stuff like that, I'm comfortable as long as the other person's comfortable. I'm fine with whatever. As long the other person has to be comfortable with though. If they're not, don't make it. But for me personally, I am comfortable with like ship art and stuff like that, especially if like they're my quote unquote oomfies. That's totally cool with me, especially if they're the characters. They have to be the characters as well. So yeah, we have to cover our bases. Exactly. I need to make a freaking, I need to make like what are those called? Boundary sheets. I need to make a boundary sheet now. Cause I've been getting a lot more fan art. I need to make one at this rate and get like a character sheet out there.
I'm comfortable with anything, Jaw.
Do you wanna?
Dude,
I think we should kiss.
10 years older than me.
I think we should kiss, Wookie.
Jaw, you're a decade older than me.
No, Jawhn is canonically closer to your age.
Well, in character, I'm older than you. In character, I was 34.
Wow. Wait, so you're 5 years old? Crazy. Can't believe this. Can't believe this. Crazy.
You're a decade older than me.
Don't say it like that, Woogie. Don't say it like that. Don't say it like that.
Older.
You can't say it like that.
Wait, Jaw, you were born in 1995?
6.
6, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
You're
I was born in 2000.
You're what?
You're 30?
Don't say it like that. Don't say it like that. Hold on. You know, I don't even shoot you at this point. You get killed. There we go.
I know we had old people in this cast, bro.
I hate you. I hate your rotation. I hate you. I hate you.
Well, I think I'm the only minor in Decayed, actually. Wait.
Are you actually?
Yeah.
Wait, so we canonically were mean to you. We were canonically mean to you. That's crazy. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about that.
Well, Jawhn, I do have a bunch left to go as well. Have a good rest of your stream.
Wait, is there any
This was
last thing
fun.
you want to say to chat about your character or anything?
I'll be honest. There's a good chance that my daughter's dead. I think realistically, in character, because in character I was 34, she wouldn't have been any more than like 15, 16.
Oh, yeah.
How easy is it for that person to survive over a year by herself?
Yeah,
in
freaking,
the
yeah, no,
apocalypse?
for sure. She was dead, bro.
So, I hope that she was alive, but that's kind of my last character. So, I guess
So you're
this
not
is-
giving
this
like a canonical, like if she is dead or not, like basically, but you're like, more than likely, she's
No.
probably dead.
is, I think more than likely. But,
Yeah. Oh, Josh, get ready to
knows?
put him down, by the way. Josh, get ready to put him
Wait,
down.
Wait, what? You put me down.
All right, keep talking, Woogie. Keep talking. Any last words?
I really enjoyed the series. The series is so much freaking fun. Oh my god. I also love just like going around the map once I was dead and just exploring all the cool things that everyone built. And it was just like, oh my god, it was so cool.
It's so
but
cool. I love it.
I had a lot of fun. And it all started with me seeing Jawhn as this defenseless little puppy with no weapon and trying to keep him safe.
True. No, the fact that we met a week prior is crazy, by the way. Like we'd only met during 4C Subathon that previous week, guys. Like it's kind of crazy. Like we had like such a good like chemistry and stuff like that. Wait, I got him. Don't worry, I got him. There we go. All right, there we go. Oh. Any last thing? Anything else, Woogie, before I put you down like I should have put you down in the series?
Wait, last thing is, wait, guess what?
What?
Chicken butt.
I hate you! All right, we got him. Oh, we got him out of here. We got him out of here, chat. He's done. He's out of here. Let's go. Also, I have read the Decayed mail. It's so sweet. Like, y'all are so nice. Oh, I love it. Jawhn, who have you met in person so far from D&D? Let me think, actually. That's a good question. Oh, gosh. Wait, that's such a good question, actually. Let me think. I met Ish, obviously. Me and Ish have been friends for like almost 6 years at this point. So I met Ish before. I haven't met Pro. I've almost met Pro, but I've never actually met Pro. Let me look at the DAD cast again, just to make sure. I met Derapchu. I have met Derapchu in person. Let's see. I've met 4C in person. I've met Spidey. I've met Rusty. I've met Rusty in person. Let's see. I don't think everyone. Actually, I feel like I've met Whiffies at San Diego, but it was like a hey, what's up, kind of thing. But I don't think I met anyone else from the group. Yeah. But yeah, no, I've met a few people from there as well. But yeah, no, hopefully, guys, if you all go to TwitchCon, by the way, I need you all to meet me actually in person, okay? So, like, if you do go... Oh.
You can't just ask people in person and then shoot them, Jaw.
Well, that's what you'd think, whether boy... Oh. Well, that's just awkward. That's just awkward.
Really awkward.
That's really awkward. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, all right. Okay, we've been going for about 3 hours right now, but I feel like we're about done with this for now. I'm pretty sure. I also got 2 hours until I turn, basically, but is there any last Oh, yeah. What do you up?
Okay, to say, I think I have to copyright your streams because you stole the ghost idea from me.
The which one?
The idea.
Oh, I'm so sorry. All right, there we go. All right, so there we go. See, that's what you do about copyright claims.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's what you do when someone falsely claims
Yeah, when someone falsely claims you guys, you punch them in the face. For legal reasons, that's a joke. All right, that's the joke. It's a joke, guys. Would Jawhn have used Force of It to save Woogie if he could? I think if Sin and Jofield would have left in session 4, I think there was a real possibility that he would have. But as long as Sin and Jofield were there, I don't think Jawhn would have gone that far. I think Sin and Jofiel were Jawn's moral compass for quite a while, and them dying just solidified that for him. Which is again why I say like them dying was such a huge point in Jawn's story, because they really were that moral compass. So he had to keep on living without them, and he really did hold them very close to his heart after a certain point. So it's like, yeah, no, it's freaking, it's very sad, but I do think that if they left, yes. If they stayed, no. I don't think Jawhn would have used them if they didn't. So, please duo farm on the Heartbeat Express. We need more truth seekers. I can't wait for Saturday. For those of you who don't know, Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern, we are doing the last voyage on the Heartbeat Express with the freaking Decayed and Decrepit cast. All right, and event staff as well. I'm pretty sure, right, Josh?
Yeah, I think a couple of us are going to be in there.
Cool, awesome, let's go. So you all need to be there at 2 p.m. Eastern this Saturday. I'm likely going to create a thumbnail after this stream and get a VOD up and ready to go for then. So it's going to be absolutely awesome, guys. Like, I'm genuinely super excited for it. It's going to be great. Let me think. Any last thing? Josh, anything else you want to tell us, like fun fact from a staff perspective?
Yeah, I did see a question in chat earlier, and I want to clarify, like, the goal going into the series. Like, obviously you kind of saw some stuff later on in the series that was very clearly like planned out because there was a whole build around it or things like that. When we started, pretty much we wanted to let everyone make their groups and improv and let the story shape up from there, and then let the creators plan stuff out between themselves. Like, there was world lore, there was like books defined, like you mentioned, but most of it was just like 95% improv for a majority of the series, and that includes the infection and everything. The only people who went into the series pre-infected that was revealed was Magic and Ish. Those were the only two who were like pre-infected. I'm pretty sure every other infection that happened was either player to player, and so, you know, you kind of saw it happen, or it was a completely random chance. Because when you were hit by a zombie, there was a 1 in 100 chance, I believe was about the stats, of being infected. To anyone who hadn't seen that, because we've kind of talked about that. But yeah, you have a 1 in 100 chance of being infected when a zombie hits you. And so for 4C, it literally was just incredibly bad luck.
Oh,
he got
no!
hit twice.
God, I guess if your heart's not pure of joy, then you get infected, right? So that's why 4C got infected.
Yeah, surely.
Yeah, sure, surely that's why. Surely. Yeah, no, I actually thought it was a 1 in 10 as well. Like, I thought it was a 1 in 10.
So there, we've also kind of mentioned the anxiety mechanic, where sometimes you'll see in chat like something pop up like, "Oh, your arm hurts." Those are a bit higher of a chance, and that's intentional. It's literally a built-in anxiety mechanic that you're scared that you might be infected, and maybe that was the one, because that one really hurts.
Oh, so you think that might have been what really impacted 4C too? You think?
Yeah. That's where a lot of people were like really scared of you know, maybe my streamer's infected because something popped up in their chat when they get hit by a zombie. And that was like a lot of the intentional things. And like Woogie said, I mentioned it. Yeah, you will know for 100% sure when you're infected because you see it in your inventory.
Yeah.
But, yeah, for 4C, it literally was just really, really bad luck. He got hit twice, and that was it.
Poor guy.
And he was the perfect first victim, too.
No, true.
Because
I think,
it made such ripples in the story. And it was also such an immediate show of like, you know, he was such a pure and kind person.
Captain Cold, he was.
And, you know, what are they going to do when the most pure, kind person who you can't come up with any reason to, like, legitimately hate, and you have to put him down? And, yeah, it was perfect, but that was not at all, we didn't have a hand in that. We just see it in staff chat. Like, we have a notification thing when it happens, and it would just notify us.
Oh my god, that's freaking insane. I know what was it? I think a lot of people also agree in chat as well, where it's like session 4 was where like Joy and Whimsy died. Then everything after that was just pain and angst. And I love angst in a story, guys. I really do. Like, angst in a story is just, it's peak. It's freaking peak. So I'm like, I absolutely love it. I think that's like, this story, Decayed Decrepit overall, I genuinely think this story has been so fun to tell. And as of right now, we have one more planned thing with the entire cast, which is Saturday. Like I said, Harpy Express is Saturday. So make sure you all are there for that one. But other than that, I wanted to just have one final retrospective on the series from just my POV, from just everything that sort of happened over this entire series. And my first ever live stream lore series went incredibly well, and I'm very happy with everything that happened. And everything that happened, I'm very happy with it, and I think it went very well, guys. I also, like I said, I do plan on making a video of my entire POV for Decayed and Decrepit at some point, and I would love for you all to see that as well. I'm very excited. I've already started working on it. I got the intro started. And I think it's going to be a lot easier to put together, considering the story was very like A to B, which is really cool. So I think, yeah, no, that's going to be absolutely awesome. I'm very excited. It's going to be a movie. It will be a movie. I'm not even going to lie to you guys. It will be a movie, and I'm scared. I'm terrified. Also, I like the chat that said, don't ask DAD fans about DAD. All the angst, all the sadness in the series, guys. All right. Anything else from either of you? Sin, Josh, anything that y'all want to say as far as fun facts? Any last things?
I will. Like just regarding the session 4 and like the whole separation between like Jofiel and like you and me. Like I would have likely chosen you just because I have to take into the fact that like I'm really bad at PvP and I would have to survive in the game, so I would have to like weigh that in my head too of like which one would be best to like stay with in terms of survival. And like I know that you're like friends with Woogie, so I did not mean to break.
Wow, breaking my chair. First you die in the session, then you kill my chair. Crazy. Can't believe this. Also, guys, I need you all to know this in chat. This mod pack is hard. Like, it is genuinely tough. Like, I almost died in multiple different areas, okay? Like, it's crazy. So, if y'all think it's easy, and y'all think that, like, Sid and Jofiel were bad for dying, no. It is genuinely a tough mod pack to play. And especially when if you play the game like you're RPing as well, like, oh, God, it's even harder. It really is a lot harder. So yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, Josh, are there chat wants to know, is there any plans for a mod pack or anything similar to be dropped for DAD or any like built-in thing?
At this current moment in time, I don't think it's planned to release the mod pack. And also, even if we were to release the mod pack, half of the way that this server works is all like custom config that's on server side, and so even if we were to throw you the mod pack, like if you open a single player world, it is like on this mod pack, it is so drastically different from what is on the series, just because of how much work was put in. The map itself, the map is public. The only difference, like this map was grabbed off of, I believe
Planet Minecraft.
The credits. Yeah, it was grabbed off Planet Minecraft. The only differences are
Let's get the credits on
any
that,
of the facility stuff, and then that church in the background right there, that was an original addition. Otherwise, if you want to play on the map itself, you can open the map, and a lot of the mods, if you look hard enough, you'll be able to find them. But like our exact stuff, I believe, is going to be staying private.
Cool. And do you have the map builders credits as well for that?
I believe we have, at least in the credits, we have the original map link, and then I believe we in the actually maybe I can find the credits doc. We have there's whole like credits. I think
Saps and Spood like put a full list of credits, including builders in theirs as well. But like I said, if you look up on Planet Minecraft, Lost Paradise City is the map, and that's the OG map. Like that's the one that's the original one that we use for this. And it's like, if you all want to play on it, like I've actually already seen some people doing like RP servers with it too, like doing their own like AUs, which is really sick. So like if you want to do that, like feel free to do that kind of stuff. Like Like, I love seeing more people get interested in RP, seeing more people get in like with like role play and lore and stuff like that. So if you all want to do stuff like this, if you all want to do like your own takes on Jawhn as a character, I give you all permission to do that too. I love the idea of him having like alternate versions of stuff and him being like played by fans and stuff like that too. So feel free to take Jawhn and play him in character stuff. Feel free to do stuff like that. Bye, Sin. Bye. Bye, Zuniga.
It's been a pleasure.
Bye. Oh, and then there was 2. Time to kill you. Oh. Well. But yeah, no, thank you all so much for watching. If there's anything else you have questions about, like, feel free to tag me and stuff like that and things. And guys, if you all make fan art, y'all better tag me on Twitter and also on every social media, please. Thank you so much. I am so sick and tired of having to search for my fan art. Please tag me. Thank you so much. All right, there you go. Or use the hashtag, one of the two, because I love fan art so much, guys. So I love it. Y'all are so talented. And as a final thing, go to creatormerch.com and check out the new Decayed and Decrepit posters. At the bottom left of my screen, we have the Truth Seekers, which was me, Sin, Joefield, Woogie, and Zora on this poster created by Cyan Doge. Absolutely awesome artist. Go check it out. Go buy the poster if you all would love it. Y'all have been absolutely going crazy for it on Twitter and stuff like that. So I'm very happy that you all love it so much. Oh my God, wait. The fact that the last song that we're hearing right now is Shoreline is crazy. John's theme song. Holy cow. But yeah, no, if y'all want to venture on the map, feel free to do so. This is probably one of the last times that I will be on this server for Decayed and Decrepit. Josh, thank you all so much for being so awesome with the events and like the staff and everything like that. Y'all cooked. Shout out to the cast for being awesome during all of this as well. And yeah, any last words, Josh?
All I have to add is Magic has at least mentioned that it exists. I won't give you any details. But it is officially confirmed that the team behind Decayed is working on something else. We are working on some sort of future series that will hold to a similar quality expectation.
She's also teased me with it as well. She said, I'm working on something. I was like, what is it? She was like, well, something.
Yeah, she's like that.
Yeah, she's like that. She's like that.
And watch more Minecraft roleplay. That's my last words.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and if you all want to see more RP from me specifically, check out my Soul Hunt video and then go watch Rusty Courage's POV of Soul Hunt. That's 5 episodes of RP stuff that I've done before. It's a banger story, absolutely awesome. So how I'd recommend it is watching my episode 1 and then going and watching Rusty's POV. Trust me, it's a banger, awesome series, and I absolutely love it. It's so underrated, and it's my videos on my YouTube channel, and all 5 episodes are on Rusty's YouTube channel as well. Okay, last thing, do I have a favorite blooper? Let me think. Oh my God, wait, there's so many good ones. I think, oh God. Honestly, I'm kind of blanking on all of them right now. I don't know why. I feel like there's so many out there that happens, but I can't remember any of them. Anyway, send me y'all's favorite bloopers and I'll rate them. I'll rate them. Yeah, because I forgot a lot of them, to be honest. It's like being on Decayed and Decrepit is so stressful because it's such an intense series. But if you all want me to see the bloopers, feel free to put them in my my Discord as well. And yeah, thank you all so much. Any last words, Josh?
Yeah, watch more Minecraft roleplay. That's all I have to add.
All right, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here. Let's go to face cam. I think Josh might have exploded there, huh? I'm not entirely sure. There we go. I just All right, let me see. All right, let me go and leave the server there. All right, how did y'all enjoy that? I know that had a lot of good insight into the series, our mindset through a lot of that too, and just a lot of awesome stuff. There's something so comical about Minecraft explosion deaths in series. No, literally true. No, I think so as well. All right, well, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate you all being here. Like I said, y'all have been absolutely awesome this evening too. Let me see if there's any. Why do I smell smoke? Hopefully it's just someone cooking something outside. What the frick? Let me see. Who am I gonna send you all over to? Let's see. Mommy, thank you so much for the follow. Let's go. Lovely, lovely street. Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right, let's go. Let's go ahead and head towards, we got May Mazes. We got Kim. Let's see. Also, the music is so intense. What the frick? Why is the music so intense? All right, let's go to May. Let's go May Mazes. She's currently doing a subathon right now. Has 135 hours on this clock left. Thank you so much for doing this stream. I love getting to hear about the behind the scenes bits and hearing your thoughts on your character so much. Instant classic MCRP series. So I didn't see where you and the rest of the cast go next. Thank you all so much for the kind words. Genuinely, y'all have been absolutely awesome. Thank you all for watching. Without you all being here, it's just shouting into the void, basically. But y'all being here made the series so worth it. So worth it. Thank you all so much. Mistrika, Mummy, Draco, Vilchari, Captain Cold, thank you so much for being awesome. Pinacata, appreciate you all again. And I think for old time's sake, I think we'll go ahead and play the outro for DAD, and we will send you all over to May Mazes for some subathon Minecraft goodness. Thank you all again. Thank you for being awesome, and appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much. And of course, you all stay awesome. So long, Paradise City. Burn in hell.
Slow down, you crazy child. You're so ambitious for a juvenile. But then if you're so smart, tell me why are you still so afraid?
Looking back, I'm glad we got the supplies, but I just wish I was bringing my friends back too. Woogie, Sen, Joe feels Zora. I'll make sure Lazarus never forgets.
Hey.
When I told them I was infected, they were shocked and angry, and we really didn't know what to do. After everyone cooled down, we figured there was really only one thing left to do. Have a few drinks, sit around the campfire, and just enjoy each other's company. There is a positive, however. At least I'll get to say goodbye.
Thank you all for watching. We will be rating May Mazes. Thank you all again for being absolutely awesome, you all. Like I said, y'all have made this series so worth it, and it means the world that you all watch Jawhn's stories. I will see you all on Saturday for some Harpy Express with the DAD cast. Thank you all again for being amazing. And if you all want creatormerch.com, go buy the Truth Seekers poster. And yeah, until then, I will see you all in the next stream. You all stay awesome.